Okay, we are live. Live here with session 25 of our Adventures in Emathan campaign. Welcome, guys.
Hey,
All right, so we will start off with some character introductions. And starting at the top of our little graphic here today, we'll start off with Douglan. Introduce yourself, Douglan.
My name is Egan. I will be playing the characters of Douglan McCain and Lafferty Jones. Douglan is a oath of the Protector Paladin, and we're using a homebrewed feat called the Great Weapon Defense. Fits very well with the Oath of Protector. It's got a lot of sort of defensive buffs, if you will, sacrificing offense, which is Douglan to a T. And Lafferty Jones is a artificer and newly formed void sorcerer, which pulls on the power of the void for some of his powers.
Excellent. Yeah, and Oath of the Protector and Void Sorcerer are both homebrewed to our campaigns. Um Next we have Landis and Nightingale. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
hi, I'm Barry. I play Landis and Nightingale. Landis is a Order of the Scribes wizard. Order of the Scribes has a second level ability, which gives them an awakened spellbook. Using specially prepared inks and ancient incantations passed down through the wizardly orders, he has awoken his spellbook with a sentience. Well, the book is in my possession. It grants me with the following benefits. I can use my spellbook as a spellcasting focus. And if you watch during the game, I will often say how Landis reaches back because he keeps his spellbook back there and puts his hand on it to cast his spells. When I cast a wizard spell with a spell slot, I can replace the damage type with another one found within the same spell level. So if I have a fire spell, I can change other effects to fire and vice versa. And then also, if I cast a spell as a ritual, once per long rest, I can use the normal casting time instead of adding the 10 minutes to it. So that's a really interesting feat that we can do there. And then if necessary, I can replace the book over the course of a short rest, which is fantastic for wizards. If you've ever lost your spell book, you'll know how detrimental that can be. All it takes is a long rest and a magic quill, and poof, get all my spells in my spell book back. And if my spell book is currently in someone's possession, it goes blank. Nightingale is a Penumbra Bard. It's a homebrew class we came up with for the world of Emathan. And I'm gonna take us back to the roots of a bard and talk about the Song of Rest, another second level ability. Healing is important in the game. This is a free healing. I can use a soothing music or oration to help revitalize our wounded allies during a short rest. If you or any of your friends receive healing from a hit dice, I can add an extra d6 of hit points at the end of that rest. And that d6 will move up to a d8, a d10, and so on as you go up in levels. So healing's important in this game. If anyone's using hit dice, always use your hit dice before your potions and stuff. They come back every day. The Song of Rest will add a little bonus.
Healing is definitely important. How else are you going to get Douglan back up?
Exactly.
After round two.
After round two. All right, and last but certainly not least, Kogan, why don't you introduce Kogaan? Why don't you introduce yourself? Sorry.
Yes, my name is Max. I play the gold Dragonborn Rune Knight fighter Kogaan, and I'm using the Fizban's Treasury of Dragons variant for my Dragonborn. So now that he's level 5, he has access to a new type of breath weapon, more than just fire breath. So look to see that busted out if we enter some combat. I'll try to breathe some new life into the game here.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. No.
See what you did there.
Yeah, no, breathe some life in there. Yeah.
New life, not better.
No quirky game mechanics from our last session, so nothing to go over there this session. I think we held her together for our last session. So to get us into tonight's play, we will start off with our recap of last session. So, as the last session began, it was early evening on the 7th day of the first Trigon of Elok's influence. The party stood in the small room just outside the entrance to the old tomb. Inside, the grease fire and smoke continued to burn, making moving back into the room where the battle erupted difficult and dangerous. The single guard dog, still caged inside the room, had begun to whine and yelp as the flames grew closer. The party regrouped and headed back inside. Landis stopped to release the last guard dog as the remainder of the party engaged 2 cloaked men waiting in a hallway not far inside. After defeating these men, the old tomb seemed to fall quiet, and the party began the search for Obadiah. Entering into a large natural cavern that branched off the old tomb, Kogaan picked up on the scent of a dragon. Walking over to the edge of a small underground river that ran through the cavern, the tracks of a young dragon could be seen. Despite this new twist, the party knew they had to stay focused on the search for Obadiah. Moving into the southwest section of the tomb, the party discovered a door that entered into what appeared to be someone's accommodations. A quick visual search of the room revealed a few valuables and some message scrolls, which the party took and continued on with finding Landis's grandfather. Moving next to the last set of closed doors, Kogaan again used his size and strength to knock the doors open. A cloaked man did his best to fight back against the party, but was quickly dispatched. The room contained several holding cells. Thankfully, the party found Obadiah inside one of them. The old mage was in poor shape, but he was alive. The decision was made to get Obadiah back to the ship so that he could be properly looked after. After a short trip back through the forest, the party met up with the Stargazer and her crew. Obadiah requested that he be taken back to Windrest to hide out. The party agreed and the ship departed. During the trip to Windrest, the party reviewed the message scrolls found in the accommodations. The first read, Onyx, I ask that you are expedient in determining the following of the impostor calling himself Darvel Snowleaf. I need to know who he is working for and what information he may have already shared. This violation of my reach could carry great consequences with the Prophet. A report is to be delivered in person no later than the 11th day of the 7th Trigon. Hail to the true God, and it was signed Chaos Watcher. The second message scroll read, Onyx, the ministry requests that you travel to Thaysan in Easterly at your earliest convenience. The darkness will be gathering there to determine how best to secure the Gith portal in order to ensure that they are unimpeded when the time for their arrival comes. The usual means of travel will be made available. Hail to the true gods, and this note was signed Scarlet Whisper. Arriving back at Windrest, Obadiah looked significantly better after some much-needed food and rest. The party followed him back through the way they had come to get Landis's staff and book. This time, the door at the end of the hall entered Obadiah's study. Obadiah asked the party to take a seat near a large fireplace as unseen servants prepared tea for them. After a quick cleanup and change of clothing, Obadiah joined the party. He told them the story about the recurring vision that had convinced him to join the Dunes, how he had used an alias he had been building for years to gain their confidence, and what he had learned over the years as a Dune. As today's session begins, it is early evening on the 8th day of the first Trigon of Elok's influence. The party is seated around a large fireplace in Obadiah's study at Windrest. Several unseen servants are completing the task of serving tea as Obadiah prepares to answer their questions about what he has shared with them. All right. Yeah, I imagine there'll be a few questions for Obadiah.
Douglan attacks.
Excellent. Just let me get the combat tracker open.
We figure he's a traitor.
Yes.
All right. So you're all seated around this big roaring fireplace in Obadiah's study. Sort of a ring of chairs around here, table in the middle. Some unseen servants are finishing up serving tea. We're really picking up from when Obadiah has just finished sort of telling you his story. And I can review some of those parts of that story if you need some clarification ahead of time, or do you just want to hit Obadiah with some questions? What do you want to do here?
Douglan just wants to hit Obadiah, I think. So.
Yeah, that seemed to be.
I got my halberd right at his neck.
Yeah.
Speak. Tell us everything.
I think we're all pretty up to date with what was
said in the last session.
What was shared with us, yeah.
So, sorry, I do have one question.
Yes.
Was Obadiah's alias as Darvel?
Yep.
Did he manage to penetrate the inner circle, or he was just on the edge, like he was like a step or two below in rankings or whatever?
He was a member of a reach. So
Right.
a reach is the inner circle of someone that is a part of the inner circle.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was kind of 1 degree removed from the prophet's inner circle, which they refer to as the ministry.
I will ask Obadiah, how long did it take for you to achieve this rank, and what sort of things did you have to do to get there?
Well, the Dooms, how do I say this? It is, for one with influence and the financial means, it was actually quite easy to become a part of the Reach that I was a member of. My alias was quite well known in Elegon, and as such, it was actually quite easy. I already knew several people that it was whispered were probably members of the Dooms, and I simply made friends with them, said the right things, got their interest, and really within a few months it was quite easy for me to buy my way into that reach.
I see.
Who's Onyx?
Onyx is referred to as a troubleshooter for the ministry. And it would appear that I became trouble for them. I do not know for sure, but it is my belief that members of our reach became suspicious of the questions, the research, the digging that I was doing into the Doom organization. And eventually Onyx was called in to find out what I was up to.
You don't happen to know what he looks like, do you?
I had only seen him once during my capture. He was, as most of them are, wearing a dark cloak. The two interesting features that I could relay to you so that one might recognize Onyx is he wore a solid, polished mask. I am unsure if he can see through this mask or if he's using some other means to view his surroundings. And he wears a very ornate, black, highly tailored suit of plate mail. He is quite a slim, muscular but slim build. If I was to make a bet, to make a guess, I would say he is Elven. Although I do not usually use magic when I was using my alias, I did attempt to fight back with some cantrips. And that is why I believe they tied me up as they did. My fear is this act of using magic, which I did as a last resort, will only increase their ability to possibly track me back to to the actual me and not my alias.
Grandfather, during your time with the Dooms, you never gleaned any idea of what the overarching objective was, or any kind of parts of it? I know you say the reaches are all kind of kept separate, but was your reach tasked with any specific goal?
The infrastructure of the Dooms is quite unique. There is the Prophet, who oversees the ministry. I do not know how many members are within the ministry. I only know that Chaos Watcher was a member of the ministry. But it is my understanding that each member of the ministry then in turn has their reach. Their reach is an undetermined number of influential and financially well-to-do individuals that help that member achieve their goals. The members of the Reach are asked their opinions on situations, although they are never told which outcome the Dooms will go forward with. The next step from the Reach is it gets into the Shadows. The Shadows answer only to the head of that Reach. And the Shadows will move throughout the area of influence, spreading messages, building followers, but everything is kept very disconnected from each other, so that if any single piece of the puzzle is captured or held in any way, they could not be tortured into giving anything away because they don't know anything. The shadows act as priests to the followers. They meet in secluded areas and discuss the better world that they are trying to create. They sell their religion to the followers with a promise that if they serve this cause well, they will be brought back when the true God appears. And unfortunately, there are fools that will buy it.
Nightingale pulls out a piece of paper, crumples it up, and throws it away.
I guess that one won't work.
I didn't believe them anyway.
Eternal life, garbage.
Do you
Well-
think you are safe now here in Windrest?
Kogaan, I am safer. I would dare not use the word safe.
It sounds like there are people here who don't like you.
There are most certainly people who grabbed on to the rumors that I had become a doom. People who did not like me before this and only found a greater argument in the rumors that I had joined the Dooms. I'm unsure of where or how the rumors began, but it just fueled the fire for people who already disliked me at the school. But there are few at the school that do not have someone who dislikes them. I am not worried about that so much as if the Dooms start to put the pieces together, there are undoubtedly within Windrest those that are a part of the Dooms. And they may be able to put the pieces together for them. It will not be an easy puzzle. I was very careful. Unfortunately, I just got sloppy in the end with my frustrations at not getting the answers I needed.
Perhaps we give them a few puzzle pieces as a distraction. Douglan,
Aye.
what do you think about the idea? You know the Vanguard better than I do. Perhaps a master of disguise becomes Darvel Snowleaf and is seen connecting with the Vanguard. This may lead the Dooms to believe that Darvel was a part of the Vanguard, an ancient enemy. It wouldn't be a far stretch that they would try to infiltrate the Dooms. And that may buy us enough time, you know, give them the hint that they're looking for, but just happens to be in the wrong direction.
You know, Nightingale, that has a lot of merit. It also might kill a second bird with this stone and weed out some here at Windrest. Go a long way to improving your grandfather, our friend's grandfather's reputation, and then maybe they'll go after the decoy.
Because I believe the Dooms know we broke Mr. Von Tenebrin out. I'm sure somebody escaped through a back way. Come on, they're a sneaky bunch. So
There was
we're
also probably a dragon there as a pet. So
There is no way that the dragon is a pet of those people.
So let's
Kogan's very
assume,
serious when he says that.
let's assume they know our group. How detailed they know our group, I don't know. But a group has just broken in and released, I believe it was Iron Shadow was your doom name. So let's use that notoriety and get spotted here moving Mr. Darvel Snowleaf onto the ship, and then, or we go by land. It's not a long trip from where we are to let me check my map for a moment.
Are you going to the city of Evandor?
That's
T&Char
it.
Winery?
Yes. Well, not T&Char Winery, but we'll go to Evandor and connect with the Vanguard there. So that's probably a day or two travel, maybe.
Oh, no,
From Windrest to
a lot longer than that.
On land, yeah, but by air.
Okay, well, I guess the key part is being noticed in Evandor with the Vanguard.
Well, Nightingale, I believe vanguards are in all major cities, so we could just go to a local outpost. Douglan has the Vanguard's sigil and is welcome anywhere, and we can set up the decoy there. And yeah, and I believe Iron Shadow. It's funny you mentioned that. That was my high school punk rock band. That's so funny. The name's the same. But yeah, we can just go to the local Vanguard and start the subterfuge there, perhaps.
Anyone have any other suggestions on a way to lure the snake out of the grass?
Master Obadiah, what do they mean by the darkness will be gathering in this second document here? Did you know about this gathering and how, did we miss it? It looks like is it part of the first note? The timing seems weird. Is it past tense? Is it the future? I don't understand this.
I'm not familiar with this note you're referring to.
Can we show him the documents?
Shall I? Or you could just read it to him.
Yes. So we retrieved these documents in one of the rooms there, and the first one talks about it talks about you, that they're really upset with you. You apparently violated some reach. Not sure what that is, and that they needed to report to be delivered in person no later than the 11th day of the 7th Trigon. Hail to the true God. And then there was another note. It says the ministry requests that you, and I don't know who this you is, I assume it's Onyx, to travel to Thesson in Easterly. Apparently that is not as much of a rush because it's at your earliest convenience, but they mention the darkness will be gathering there. What does that mean?
The Dooms use several different names to designate groups, much like Onyx. Onyx runs a group of assassins known as the Darkness. That would basically be saying that Onyx needs to assemble to meet his team in the San.
Okay. The usual means of travel.
Yes. The Dooms lean heavily on teleportation circles to move all throughout Emathan. It is considered the usual means of travel.
I see.
You don't happen to know where these, or one is located, do you?
I do not. Whenever Chaos Watchers' reach came together in the city of Allegon, a carriage would pick us up. We would be blindfolded and carried to a location we never knew. All I can tell you is the location changed for every meeting. And when the meeting was over, we would be back in the carriages and taken back to wherever we asked to go. And there was, in one of the places, I caught a glimpse of what I do believe was a teleportation circle drawn on the floor in one of the rooms. It is likely that they have these teleportation circles throughout all of their areas of operation that they can get to when necessary. But they are unlikely at their actual headquarters, as there is always the possibility that one could use a teleportation circle against them.
Well, first things first. Grandfather, what is your plan for explaining to the members of Windrest your sudden return? I do have a suggestion on that.
Go ahead.
Landis will walk over and he'll put a hand on Kogan's shoulder and he'll be like, my friend here, Kogan, shared with me. Kogan, do you mind if I share with my grandfather your plight as far as...
No, I think it is okay.
If I may be so bold, Kogan, Windrest contains many of the greatest minds related to magic you will find in Emathan. So if anyone will have an idea of how to help out, it might be a way to stir the pot to get some answers here. But Obadiah, you could say that you went off and spent time with the Dragonborn. It would seem that eggs of dragons and dragonborns are not hatching due to some magical reason or lack thereof. And you could say that you went and spent time with them trying to solve this problem. They asked you to keep it in confidence, and you, in good faith, kept it in confidence.
Yes.
And perhaps you have now returned to have other minds try to look into this strange occurrence of dragons not being born or stilted in the process.
I do think that would work. With having Kogan here, making an appearance as this group, it could definitely show the plausibility of such a story. Thankfully, and I do expect she'll be by shortly, the current headmaster of the school knew exactly what I was doing. She is a dear and close friend of mine, and I shared it all with her before I went forward with it, as I needed at least one person who understood what I was executing upon in case I needed help.
Would that be Zeftina?
No. Irome Crestgazer is now the current headmaster of the School of Conjuration. She was an apprentice of mine at one time. Very smart lady. And I told her what had to be done and that she would move into my position, and she could definitely help confirm such a story.
Kogaan,
Yes.
are you okay with running this ruse? It won't go against your Yadu Balan, will it?
No, it will not affect Yado Balan. The biggest concern is that the location of my home remains secret, but there has been no discussion of that, and that would be okay. I could even no, it is not necessary. Yes, I will act as if need me to speak to lend credibility to this ruse, then I can do so. But I will not reveal location information to anyone.
Absolutely not. We will make it clear that the details of where I have been must remain untold for everyone's protection. And we will simply use your presence to solidify where I have been. I think that is an excellent idea, Landis. And I do believe, and just as Obadiah says that, you hear on the door, and there's a pause. You hear a mumbling outside the door, and then this, on your side of the door, this face appears out of the door, and Irome Crestgazer would like to come in. Should I open the door for her? Obadiah, yes, absolutely. Open it at once.
Nightingale's like, oh god, I thought that was her face.
There are many fascinating enchantments here.
The face disappears in the door as the door opens. Now, what strikes all of you immediately, this is the door you walked in. It now appears to be a short hallway to a staircase that's outside of the door. The hallway is no longer there that you guys came in on.
Lafferty almost gets hit because he's staring at the door where the face was.
Standing on the other side, you see you're going to guess, sort of middle-aged lady. She is dressed in a human, dressed in typical mage robes. Her robes are quite ornate, sort of giving you the feeling she's someone of authority. And she enters the room, and a big smile appears on her face. Obadiah gets up and goes over, and they give each other a hug, and Obadiah turns back to the room, and everyone, this is Irome Crestgazer. Irome is the current head of the School of Conjuration, and a very dear and close friend to me. She is the one that we just spoke of, the only person at Windrest who knew where I was going when I left. And I do believe we have a discussion to have with Irome. Behind her, the door closes again, and Irome kind of looks everyone over and says, I assume that your second trip to Windrest, it was as successful as your first. Quint told me all about your first visit and what you were up to.
Yes, it is definitely way more comfortable than the first time.
Excellent. Obadiah is known to make things interesting. And she comes over, she grabs an open seat in the little circle, and she says, Obadiah, it is hard to explain how happy I am that you have returned. We will have very much to catch up on, but it seems that I must be brought in the loop on something. Obadiah turns to Landis and says, Landis, why don't you explain what we have been talking about to Irome?
Well, Irome, in order to not raise eyebrows to Obadiah's return, we have asked a favor from our friend Kogaan, a Dragonborn.
And which
Now,
one's the Dragonborn?
Oh, Kogaan laughs.
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
Landis is just stone faced, like
Yeah, doesn't have any.
what our plan is that you and Obadiah knew Obadiah had gone off to help the Dragonborn with an issue. I will let Kogaan explain in detail what information he would like to share with you and what boundaries are needed to be set. It is a great favor from him that he is allowing us to use this information for Obadiah's benefit. And in return, we simply ask that those in Windrest who could assist him with information about what could possibly be causing his issue, that you are forthcoming with that information in exchange.
I like where this is going. Kogaan, would you like to share the part of the story that we can share?
Yes, it is a simple but disconcerting matter in that simply our clutches are not hatching. So little young dragonborns are not being born, and neither are those of other dragon kind. I will maybe leave it at that, but that is what is happening. So our plan is that Obadiah came to my hometown. We met with him and brought him to our village, and he was doing research into the matter to help us find the cause of the problem.
Now, secrecy was requested by the Dragonborn. That's why Obadiah's disappearance was such a mystery. The Dragonborn.
And I will say, I'm sorry.
No, please.
If you do not know, Dragonborn and dragons are a very magical creatures, and we believe that this is tied very much to whatever might be happening with these other things going on. So it is partly this ruse, but partly could be tied to what Obadiah was doing with these dooms people. But of course, we do not say that to the other people, if I understand the plan correctly.
Obadiah turns to Kogaan, and Kogaan, in exchange for your gracious gift of this story that I will use to explain my return to Windrest, I promise that I will investigate the possibility further that what is happening in the world is affecting the dragon eggs, as you say they are. This will be done in secret. Only this group will understand what I find. But if I can help you in any way, I will do so.
It is very much appreciated. Thank you.
Irome says, well, I do believe that our best course of action would be to bring you all to tomorrow's breakfast for the house, where we will make the announcement of Obadiah's return, and we will share the information as agreed, and that should at least get some new rumors started, ones that lead us away from the doom rumors.
And don't forget, guys, this is a two-part ruse here. We also have to get Darvel Snowleaf spotted leaving to Aragon.
So Obadiah says, my only concern with that part of the plan is that Darvel Snowleaf has never been to Windrest and had no association to Windrest. I like the idea that Darvel makes an appearance somewhere that would draw them away from Windrest, but I don't believe seeing him leave here may have the opposite effect of what we want. But if you want an appearance in the city of Evandor, that would definitely pull attention away from here.
That's a better plan. I like that. You just polished up a gem of a plan.
I believe it was going to not be here in Windrest. It was going to be the closest outpost of the Vanguard, which I believe is Evandor, if I'm not mistaken.
You guys are kind of 50-50 between Whalespell and the city of Evandor here, but it's probably more beneficial and easier for you guys to go towards the city of Evandor, since that's where you need to eventually go anyway.
Yeah.
But it's up to you guys.
We can park the ship at Tianchar and ride in with the hostage for the Vanguard. Or not necessarily a hostage, but you know what I'm getting at.
We have this... Oh, no, sorry, you're the good guy. My bad. Untie him, quick! All right, so Irome says, well, Obadiah can arrange accommodations for you for the night. I know he has the means within his study. I will be back at first light and to collect you all and bring you to the morning breakfast where the announcement will be made. I will ensure Quint that Obadiah has returned, and the boy has a way of making sure everyone at the House of Conjuration will know by morning.
Excellent.
Good.
Are there any further questions for me before I depart?
Nope.
She gets up and goes over and gives Obadiah another hug. And then I will see you all for breakfast. And she departs. The door opens as she walks towards it and then closes behind her.
You have a very dear friend.
Yes, she was one of my best apprentices, and the young lady will be much smarter than myself one day. So then, shall we call it a night? Does anyone require anything further?
I do have one other question.
Yes.
You had mentioned that the Dooms have a device given to the Githyanki that acts as a sending stone between dimensions so that they can coordinate.
Yes, one might call it a greater sending stone. It seems to be able to cut through the interference between our plane and the between.
You, by chance, grandfather, have any friends in the School of Evocation that might be able to lend us some insight on a possible way to track this communication device down? Magic of that intensity must leave some type of lingering mark.
It is certainly worth looking into. Yes, I will indeed.
Landis walks over to Lafferty. Lafferty, my thought is if we could find something that could track this device, we might be able to retrieve it and end communication between the Gith and the Dooms, or at least temporarily end it.
Or perhaps intercept messages.
That may be of benefit. But I am not as schooled in evocation as other students. I dabbled in all of it, not focusing on any one particular subject.
I'm very fascinated because, as you know, I can create a sending stone, but something of this magnitude to go across dimensions, it must be incredibly potent. I would love to get my hands on one or two.
The last bit of information, Grandfather, before my friends and I retire for the evening, we had spent a short period of time in the Shattered Lands. And during that time, we were informed by the residents there, who are very in tune with the magic of Emathan, that they themselves had felt a faltering of the magic. In investigating my friend Kogan's issue, that might be an area of interest to investigate further.
Yes, you are referring to the Forsaken.
That is
I
correct.
have read of them during my years. They are, if I recall, they are somehow tied to the magic of the area and no doubt very in tuned with it. You say they feel a falter in the magic or just some change in it?
It has been quite some time, and we have gone through many an ordeal since that visit. I can't recall exactly, but I do recollect them saying that there was changes of some sort going on in the magic, whether it was an increase, a decrease, something along those lines. But I feel that the Forsaken may have insight that the rest of us do not have about the connection between dragon kind and the magic of Emathan.
Landis, my boy, I know you were not particularly fond of the history of magic while you were at Windrest, but it is well documented that since the god's anger, there has been an ebb and a flow to magical power within Emathan. As we moved past the first gathering, magic weakened within Emathan and continued to weaken for hundreds of years. Then it slowly began to grow again until it reached a similar level of power, ebbing again and flowing again until we got to the first 1000 millennial anniversary of the gathering, when the power reached its maximum level since the god's anger. That was when the rifts opened for a second time. We are now nearing another 1,000 years, and the intensity of magic is growing once again and will soon equal what it did 1,000 years ago. We believe that rifts will open again. We cannot know for sure, but I do believe that the Forsaken are talking about the increase in magical intensity that is growing across Emathan. We will enter, as we near this 1,000-year period, magic will become the most powerful it has been in 1,000 years. Kogaan, this is part of the research that I will do on your behalf to see if the dragon kind had a similar occurrence 1,000 years ago. We have libraries. If it was recorded, I will have it found.
Very good.
Is it fair to say that magic is gathering?
Yes, but of course we wouldn't say that. Magic is gathering. Oh, God.
Sorry. My bad. Just wanted to break the tension a little bit.
Now, at this point, Obadiah looks completely different than he did as Darvel Snowleaf.
Well, presumably the Landis is the only one that's ever seen him before. Presumably Landis, the only thing you can see is he has dark hair now, where his hair, previous to when you saw him was gray in that. You don't know, like, does he use a disguise when he's Darvel? You don't know. Clearly he has dark hair as Darvel.
Well, Nightingale will need that information. I'll need to know what Darvel Snowleaf looked like. Do you have maybe an image?
We could definitely work on that, Nightingale. I can explain to you the disguise that I've been using to help you replicate it.
Well, gentlemen, any other questions before Obadiah gets to have the first good night's rest he's probably had in a while?
Yes. Are there any statues in our rooms?
I don't believe so. Is there some concern with statues?
Yes, there is. But if there are no statues, then there is no concern.
Yeah, or poison gas. I might be sucking back a couple times here.
All right. Obadiah turns to kind of talk to the room, and he says, would one of you please show our guests to their accommodations? And over by the desk, you see there's a candle floats up, lights up, and walks over to the stairwell from the study that goes down. So there was a stairwell that went up, and it's sitting at the top of the stairwell that goes down.
Well, my friends, shall we call it an evening?
Yes.
We'll follow the candle.
All right, the candle floats on down the staircase. Obadiah gets up. He goes over, gives Landis a big hug, and says, "Thank you, my boy. Thank you for coming to get me."
I did what was necessary.
And he leaves, going up the stairs. You guys follow the candle downstairs. You get down to a floor. Basically, there's a center area that you go. You kind of reach the bottom, walk to a short hallway into a center area, and there's doors all the ways around that are all open, and you can see they're just simple rooms. They've got a bed, a small desk. Each room has a window that looks out. The candle just kind of waves a circle around the room and disappears back up the staircase. So there's 8 rooms down there. Lots of rooms for all of you folk.
Does anyone have anything else to say before we go to sleep?
I think I'm good. Do you have any questions, anyone?
Nightingale, you were talking some rubbish the other night. You remember?
Not really. What did it sound like? Was I reciting poetry?
Something like that. Something about well, I don't know. Perhaps a story of revenge and well, wealth.
Classic
Something-
tale.
Yes. You
I
seem
guess
very
revenge,
determined.
wealth, and a woman, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Ah, yes.
But you were well into your cups. So
I was celebrating. We had just found an old guy.
older than me, finally.
Oof. I didn't hear him preaching though, Douglan.
Ah, he's not carrying this group like I am.
Well, I think with that, I'm going to bed.
Kogaan finds a room with no statues.
None of the rooms, thankfully, have statues.
All right.
Landis will go in a few of the extra rooms and pull some of the covers out and bring them back to Kogan's room and throw them in on the floor for him. Perhaps this will make you more comfortable.
Sure. Thank you.
And again, Kogan, I appreciate you allowing me to use some of your circumstance to help my grandfather.
Of course, it helps both of us. It is no problem.
I didn't want to overstep, but the need was great.
I appreciate that you asked me first.
All right.
Good night.
I'll run. I don't know if anybody
Short.
needs anything, but I'll run a long rest anyway.
We had it on the ship ride in as well. So
I think everybody's
we're
good. We just get to hear the wonderful sound, so really makes the moment.
Colin, I'm keeping track of days that Lafferty could make stuff, but
Yep.
I won't bog down the section.
Please don't. Oh,
I would
Lafferty.
love to talk in detail about all the things that I would like to create.
That I've been making.
Yes. So,
Morning has arrived at Windrest. There are knocks at all of your doors. As you arise and open the doors, there's simply the candle sitting there at the bottom of the stairs again.
takes a few minutes for Douglan to get up.
Gotta do a little stretching to get going for the day.
Douglan, would you like me to crack your back or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Behind a shoulder blade. Yeah.
I'd say walk on my back, but right up, get up after that.
I don't think so.
At 300 pounds, that might be a rough therapy.
I'll leave the plate on.
Yeah.
All right, everyone arises, gets themselves together, makes your way up the stairs where Obadiah is sitting at his desk. His hair is now, Landis, the color you would expect it to be. It is no
Orange.
longer orange. Fluorescent yellow. That's when he was a part of that punk band group called Iron Shadow. And he pushes away from the desk and comes over. I hope that everyone slept well.
Very well, thank you.
If you are ready to eat, breakfast will be served shortly. We will head down to the dining room.
I can eat.
All right. The door opens. You enter into what? So you guys have kind of surmised now you're in a tower. When you look out the windows, like, you know, when you got in your room, you're actually overlooking the school complex for the School of Conjuration. So you're in one of the big towers that's at the school. When you go out, it's basically there's a hallway where this tower connects up to the other buildings. Obadiah leads you down some halls and stairs and around. There's people milling about all over the place, all different ages, from kids that are probably no more than 7 or 8 years old to people easily as old as Obadiah are milling about. You finally make it to one large grand staircase that takes you down into a big foyer area. You cross in behind the staircase and walk into this big, huge dining room. It's a dining room that could easily hold 1,000 people, and it's quite full of people. Probably 2/3 full. There is a big head table at the end where Irome and what you assume to be other professors from the School of Conjuration are all sitting. And you guys make your way along. You know, immediately heads are turning, and the murmuring is obviously about Obadiah and your group entering the room. As you get up, Irome, as you're approaching, you're walking down through this big dining area. Irome comes down from the head table. She meets the group and says, "Good morning, all. I hope that you slept well. Obadiah, there is a seat at the head table for you, and the rest of you can sit here at the front of this table. Breakfast will be served right away."
You guys can see Landis is very uncomfortable in this situation.
I bet. Ate here a few days.
Yeah.
Landis, what is the matter? You seem uncomfortable in this situation.
I did not have the greatest experience with my remaining days at Windrest.
But you are so skilled with magic. You were not highly respected.
I was not. The rumors of Obadiah and the Dooms tarnished what experience I might have had.
Well, maybe these new rumors will help ease the situation.
Perhaps.
Just as you are seated, coming in from the wings, look like younger students probably who are responsible for serving. They're bringing plates of food to all the tables. It's just basically a big platter they're laying in the middle as they go down, and people just pick what they want off the platter. Everyone digs in, and they bring a second platter out to where Kogaan is seated, making sure
I was going to say, we're going to need more platters.
Yeah. They pick up on that pretty quickly when he starts shoveling off of the first platter. And, you're in there for about a half an hour or so when Irome stands, and just across the whole room, it just goes quiet as everybody kind of clues in that the headmaster has something to say. Irome looking around the room, and she says, "I am sure by now that many of you have noticed the return of the School of Conjuration's former headmaster, Obadiah von Tenebrin. Obadiah has returned to us from work that he had been completing in secret to the assistance of the Dragonborn. In particular, we have a guest with us today, Kogaan, who was with Obadiah while they were looking into matters that we unfortunately cannot share with the group. But it is important for everyone to understand that Obadiah has returned to us, and in short order will be back as a professor at the school. We know in the past there were those among the other schools that spread unfortunate rumors about where Obadiah had gone. Due to the secretive nature of the assistance he was offering, we were unable to put those rumors to rest. This day, this will be considered done. Rumors that Obadiah von Tenebrin was a doom are false. The work that Obadiah was doing for the Dragonborn was of most importance and most secret. But the good news is he is back with us and will be returning as one of your professors in short order. Obadiah has decided to not retake the headmaster position at this time, although I would gladly give it up to him if he asked. Questions can be left to later and dealt with on a one-on-one basis. Enjoy your breakfast. Enjoy the fact that Obadiah has returned to us. The murmur immediately went from a 5 out of 10 to about an 11 out of 10 as everyone's talking about what they just heard amongst all of their tables.
Nightingale kind of elbows Kogaan. Look at me for a second. Smile. He prestidigitations all the shit out of his teeth. Gotta make a good impression, buddy.
Oh, sorry?
Does Lafferty notice anybody like beside? I know a lot of people, I'm sure, are staring, but can you just look around the room to see if there's sort of like another level of
intense doom staring?
Yeah, someone that is looking at Obadiah and they're giving them the doom stare. That's what I'm looking for, the doom stare. Yeah, they have a special stare.
Yeah.
It's hideous.
You would have no way of knowing whether anybody in this room was a doom or not of the near.
I am proficient in doom stare. Okay.
In the doom stare, yes. He
You're
forgot.
You're
he
also
forgot.
Go ahead. A sketched out little shadow sorcerer. So you're looking at everybody being like, they're all staring at us.
Yes.
Literally everyone in the room is going, I think that little sketchy one's a doom.
Definitely. Fine.
Good try. Yeah, if you can roll a 50 on a d20, I'll give it to you. I'm
doing it.
I'll give him guidance. Come on, all the pluses you can get.
Ooh, almost.
34 more to go. Almost there.
So the room, the people throughout the room, they are all ages. People, not just children, come to Windrest. Wizards of all levels come to study throughout their lives at various stages. So the school itself, literally has thousands and thousands and thousands of students that come and go all the time. This is just one of the houses, one of the schools of magic. So
this, I was going to ask, this is just a conjuration hall then?
This is just the eating hall for the School of Conjuration.
Yep.
Wow. Landis, it looks like there's wizards from the mountains and from the cities and from the coast even.
Windrest is a very prestigious school of magic. we have houses of all the different varieties of magic, as you can discertain. I think that's the word for it. But yeah, they come from all around to come and study here.
How do they
It's
do their?
basically all through Emathan. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Windrest is the school of magic to attend.
How long is schooling?
No, my question was, how do they? I mean, do they send emissaries around to test
Yes, you get a letter from an owl.
Listen, I just wanted to let you know I don't want to be sitting in this Gryffindor section. I'd really like to be in Slytherin.
I want to go
If
over
that's
Slytherin.
possible. And I can't believe you guys missed wizards from the. Anyway, moving on.
Oh man, we got
I'm
magic.
done
We got Magic the Gathering and Wizards from the Coast now. In
I
this
am
episode.
done with the puns tonight. You guys forget it.
Some
Forget
come
it.
here on their own, some are invited. Depending on where they are coming from, some might not have the exposure other students may have had. I myself was invited by my grandfather.
Yeah, you can
But if
you
you-
can think of Windrest like a really big university, right? Where you not only have you got your first year students and your second year students, but you also have alumni that are constantly coming back to spend more time studying and learning, and maybe they go to a different house to learn from that house and so on. So
They don't want to get a job, so they just come back to the university.
they
Professional students,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So, friends, what are we going to do after breakfast? What is our next move?
Well, I think we're on our way back to Tian Char. From Tian Char, I'll get my disguise as Darvel Snowleaf, and as a group, we will head into the city and make sure we get spotted, parade around for a bit, and then connect with the Vanguard. I'm sure the Vanguard would love to have their hands on these letters we picked up.
Now that your grandfather is back, Landis, how much longer do we get the Stargazer?
I hope until we have succeeded in thwarting the Doom's plan of this massive gateway that all of you are having dreams about. I don't see him needing it as much as we do.
Just asking.
But then again, the old geezer could be a butthead and take it away tomorrow. I don't know.
as you're all eating, coming up along the far side, you notice a young lad who is Quint, and he comes up to the front table, and you're basically you're sitting on benches on long tables, and he gets in and he just immediately sits down beside Landis, and he's like, "Landis, you did it! You found him!"
Well, it was a little easy with a compass pointing right at him.
It worked, didn't it? It was pointing at him, wasn't it?
Indeed, it was Quint. It led us to my grandfather and Kogaan.
Wow. So he takes the book and he just lays it down beside you. Your grandfather's copy of Words Yet Spoken. You should give that back to the professor. And thank you so much for finding him.
Quint, I will definitely put in a good word to my grandfather about how much of an asset you have been to his return.
Thank you. And just between the two of us, I was giving him a really hard time.
Thank you.
Quint gets up and heads off back down to his seat within the dining hall.
I'll flip through my grandfather's book just to see if there's anything different. Or I think I've gone through it before. It's all pretty much identical.
It's identical to your book. The only difference is all the pages in his book open.
Yeah.
Your book always only seems to open to the next page all the time. And in the very back of his book there's some enough pages where just, that little notch was cut out just big enough so that the compass could be placed in there.
Landis will look over to Lafferty. Your mind must be racing, my friend. Have you ever been to Windrest before?
No. This is my first time, and I don't even know where to start, and who to ask, and what to ask. There's so many things I would like to ask. Where can I start? Are we staying?
I would think we'd be leaving shortly.
Unfortunate, very unfortunate. There is a lot that I could learn here, but I understand. Yes, we have to keep going.
I can't help but recall you made a portable closet, correct?
I did, yes.
My grandfather would seem to have a portable tower.
Yes, I noticed that.
With multiple doors that other people can use to enter it.
Yes, indeed. Are you sure we can't stay? Maybe for like a week, maybe 2, maybe a month, maybe 6?
Perhaps returning one day would be of interest to you.
Yes, that would be fantastic. Yes, I would love that.
In the meantime, mental notes, my friend, mental notes.
Oh, yes, they're racing all over.
Okay, you enjoy a very fantastic breakfast. Kogaan, even you are full.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's been running it back.
You make your way, basically Obadiah comes back around after, the professors and that sort of huddled together for a little bit towards the end of breakfast and behind the head table, and you can see from where you guys are, Obadiah's reception is, by all of the School of Conjurations professors is very warm. They are very happy to have him back, and they all disperse. Obadiah makes his way over, and well, now everyone, shall we return back to my study and figure out what our next move is then?
What is the reaction to Landis from people?
So it's already been several years since Landis was at the school. So a lot of the student body no longer recognized Landis. He's grown up and changed quite a bit since he was last. The professors know who he is. I mean, you got that. That was pretty clear from when the two professors met you guys when you first arrived. But the student body themselves, there may be some who would know who he is, but for the most part, they don't.
Well,
He doesn't look exactly like the student he did several years ago.
Hey, Landis, if there's any bullies you'd like us to have a chat with?
No.
The School of Conjuration was one of the safer places for Landis. It was a lot of the trouble that Landis had came from the other schools, the professors, and who were maybe at odds with Obadiah in one way or another, and used it as an opportunity to make life. No one immediately tried to make life hard for Landis from a professor standpoint, but the rumors were just hard to avoid.
Ravenclaw and
and Hufflepuffle. Yeah,
they were really
they were the worst.
Douglan, I appreciate your offer, but most of the people I would be sending you to beat up are mages, and you might not fare too well.
Oh, I got a trick or two up my sleeve. See, I pretend that I'm dead, you see. And then Nightingale over there smacks me over the head with this healing rod. I get right back up and clean them up.
I believe they call that the puppet master routine.
Indeed. We've honed it to perfection.
Just like the magic of Emathan, Douglan's battle style ebbs and flows.
It does. Be water.
Okay, you
Back at-
return back to Obadiah's study. And he takes a seat at the desk, rolls up a piece of paper, and hands it to Nightingale. Nightingale, I do believe that this will be a good enough representation of Darvel's Snowleaf that you will be able to reproduce it.
He'll
Yep, so
Yes,
it's just like a pencil drawing of what, or I guess it would be a charcoal drawing of what Obadiah looks like. Or sorry, what Darvel looked like.
Perfect. It's all I'll need. As he kind of looks at Obadiah a bit. He's like, I got it.
Now, my question to you all is, what is your next move? Clearly, I will remain here and support you as best I can. Landis, I saw Quint dropped off my copy of Words Yet Spoken. I do believe we can continue to use this as a form of communication.
Indeed. And he'll pull the book out and lay it on the desk. A handy tool it has been this far.
Yes, but as for the rest of you, where will this... I try to find the right words for it. This
Quest.
quest, maybe a good term, of ours, take you all next.
Well, I believe, and if I may speak for the group, we head to Evandor to create the second part of your protection, the Darvel Snowleaf Vanguard connection.
Yes. That
There-
would certainly assist in keeping suspicions away from Windrest that much longer.
There,
And maybe. Oh, I was going to say maybe it will help draw out this Onyx character.
exactly what I was hoping for.
Indeed.
With Douglan's connection to the Vanguard, I'm hoping that the second document found belonging to Onyx about the darkness gathering in
The Sand.
Bonson,
The Sand. Yep.
that the Vanguard assets there might be of help to us to locate that side of the puzzle.
Indeed.
And then, as Kogaan has suggested, perhaps while we are in Evandor, Onyx will come after Darvel Snowleaf again, as he is required to present a report on who he's connected to. So we will use what assets we have there to keep close watch on the situation. We have other pressing matters to deal with of our own prior to all of this shenanigans. We have a Githenthor to return to a location. But
Yes.
in the meantime, we hope that with the aid of the Vanguard, we might be able to gather some more insight onto where we can find either Chaos Watcher or the Onyx.
I do believe for now that is a suitable path forward. You will continue to have the use of the Stargazer for as long as is necessary, for as long as it is useful to you. As I mentioned, I did have to liquidate my assets quickly, as I knew what was coming, and I poured them into the Stargazer. So it is at our disposal as necessary.
Landis leans kind of back to Kogaan. Don't worry, you're still flying.
Yes.
Well then, grandfather, we should leave at haste to further this ruse. Any delay here might disrupt whatever chance we have of pulling this off.
Agreed. So that everyone understands, the words yet spoken does give me some minimal insight into what is going on with the group. Generally, I can tell roughly where you are, and if all of the group is together. So I will have at least that much knowledge of what is going on with the group at all time. I will rely beyond that on any notes that Landis sends to me through the book. I will do my best to reply to them promptly, now that I do not have to keep that a secret.
Douglan, do you recall how many days we have left before we need to get Maggie and the Githyanthor to the portal?
Douglan absolutely does. Egan absolutely does not. I'm sorry. I know there's a Trigon something in there. No, I thought it was like 2 weeks.
Okay, so just a quick timeline for everybody, because I know it's always interesting, but it is the 9th day of the first Trigon of Elok's influence. It was only 9 days ago that all of this began, with Anton's death and Kogan's arrival. So initially, the general Vith had, Verymock Vith had figured he would, he was thinking 2 to 3 weeks to give his people time to muster at the Timeless Temple. So you're nearing the end of the first week right now. So, I mean, all depending on whether it's 2 or 3 weeks you decide to wait, you roughly have another 10-day to go.
So Douglan says that.
Hard to believe, but it was only 9 days ago that the
Obadiah, is there a chance that also while we were gone, you can look into that evocation sending inquiry?
I will indeed. I will see what the other professors know of greater sending stones, and if there is something that could be used as an indicator of their location.
Indicator, or as Lafferty suggested to me last night, perhaps a way of listening in.
I will look into that as well, yes.
Speaking of which, how can we, if you have a discovery, for example, how can we know about it? We have some business to attend to that is a long distance away, and I mean, of course, I could provide a sending stone, but that sort of limits my my infusions, right? Which I could use for other things. Do you guys perhaps have a way of? Do you have a sending stone yourselves that we could have, and you could communicate with us? Is that possible?
Landis, very stone-faced, looks at Lafferty. Where were you the last 5 minutes, Lafferty? We just talked about words not spoken, a book that I can communicate with my father.
Oh, I
Or
thought you were
grandfather.
giving it back. I thought, oh, okay. Oh,
I
you
have
can
a
keep it.
copy, and Obadiah has a copy.
Ah, okay, excellent. So we'll still be able to communicate. Excellent. That's great.
All right.
Pats him on the back.
As you're preparing, well, Lafferty kind of comes in and out of the reality of the rest of the group. So, as you're sort of finishing off, your preparations to depart Windrest once again, Obadiah comes over to Lafferty and he says, Lafferty, I understand that you have been doing some research into hidden spaces. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. And he pulls out a little carved knob. Would you like to see it?
Yes, I would.
Sort of like one of his little cartridges on his wrist. He just suddenly drops a little dollop of void water on this little knob, and then he puts it out, and basically he turns it, and you hear a click, and from thin air, all of a sudden, two doors open, and he opens up into a relatively large, let's call it a mini room, almost like a walk-in closet. And there's everything an alchemist could need. There are beakers, there's boilers, there's a work table, notes everywhere. Bottles of this, components of that. And he starts to describe everything in detail to to his new audience.
Gail's like, oh, wow, it's your childhood bedroom.
Obadiah turns to Lafferty and says, the magic you used, if I am seeing this correctly, I believe you used phase spider venom?
That is correct. Yes. It is a key component because, as you know, and he goes on to describe face spiders as if the guy doesn't know.
So you are moving this space slightly out of phase to hide it.
Correct.
Very ingenious. I have a book, Lafferty, that I believe you might be interested in to further your studies.
Really?
He looks and says to someone in the room, retrieve the book on phase spiders, please. Suddenly, way up in one of the shelves, you see a book come off and come down, and it's handed over to Lafferty. Lafferty, this is a book called A Life with Phase Spiders. It was written by Shia Sunspeaker. She spent a large portion of her life studying a small nest of phase spiders. And as part of her research, she experimented with uses of phase spider venom. You may find it interesting in expanding your ability to hide things.
He's not even listening. He's just already devouring it. Yeah. What was that? I'm sorry? And he goes back to reading. Like he's gone. He's in the book. If he could teleport inside the book, he would.
All right. Did that open up there for you?
Let me take a look. Yes.
Is it in your inventory, Egan? I believe it should have.
Let's take a look.
If not, drag it to your inventory.
Alrighty.
Is it in there?
It's in there now.
Okay.
Yes,
perfect.
sir.
All right. Okay, you depart. Obadiah walks you back to the Stargazer.
Landis is having to guide Lafferty though, because he has not looked up from the book.
From the book.
Since.
And you make your way to the dock, the skyship dock, where the Stargazer is sitting. Some of the crew are just milling about on the dock. Some are, they're just hanging out, waiting for whenever somebody came back again. And you guys get up to the ship. Captain Murfitz comes down and he walks over. He shakes Obadiah's hand and, "Oh, you're looking much better. Yes, much better indeed. A good night's sleep and a good meal, that always helps. Yes. Now, are we departing today, or what's the plan?"
We would like to depart and with post haste get to Evandor. Tea and Char Winery.
And where would Tea and Char Winery be?
It's just outside of Evandor. I'll get you there.
The city of Evandor. Okay, yes. That I can find, and we can go from there. A quick departure then? We need to be ready?
Indeed.
Okay. All right then. And Captain Murfitz, he shakes Obadiah's hand, and it is really good to see you again, Obadiah. And he heads off, starts yelling instructions, and the ship's crew is going to work in preparation for her departure.
Can Landis ask, or Landis will ask Obadiah if he has any magical inks to spare? I need to scribe a spell or two into my book, and I'm poor.
Yes.
He did give me a ship. I mean,
Shut up.
the poor man liquidated his entire
If you
estate.
need gold, Landis, I'm happy to give you much of my gold.
Yes. You just need some ink.
Well, to scribe a spell, there's a gold requirement, which is magical inks and stuff. So I'm just subverting you, saying, Obadiah, can I have some gold? Can I have some of the magical inks?
Yes.
It is much better the way you did it.
Yeah,
Obadiah can definitely get you what you need to
I'm sure he's got a couple gallon jugs in the back,
Yeah, he's got some ones he got from Costco, so he's good.
Right next to the vat of mayonnaise.
All right.
That's one of the things you can make with your jug, isn't it? Mayonnaise?
You can add what you need, Barry. You can add what you need for that to your character sheet. Make a note for yourself, whatever that
Yep.
We'll assume that was asked before you before you left, while you guys were finishing off your final details. So everybody makes their way back onto the ship. Shortly thereafter, the ship pulls away from the dock and starts slowly gain altitude into the air for the trip ahead. And we are heading to the city of Evandor to start. Okay. Let's take a break.
I'm gonna make a joke.
Look at the game chat.
You'd have to have the game chat open right now. There.
Oh, the general chat.
Barry may have sent a hint or two that he needs a break. Yeah.
Oh, you mean in the
in the Discord.
Discord general
okay.
chat.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll take a break, and we will return shortly. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. All emergencies were diverted. We're good. We're good. Okay, you are on the Stargazer, which has just departed Windrest on your way to the city of Evandor. Your actual destination being Tianchar Winery. Windrest to Tianchar Winery will only take about 8 hours to get there.
Damn. So fast.
So, you know, you're leaving early morning. You'll be arriving around supper time to Tianchar. I assume you're going straight to Tianchar to start.
Yeah.
Obviously, the city of Evandor was just a larger target for the Stargazer's crew. As you, you know, we're late afternoon, early evening as you roll in. The weather's been very nice on the trip, and as with your additional navigation, you get to Tianchar Winery, so you can kind of see the winery off in the distance. The skyship is slowly coming in on the winery. Off in the distance, you hear
Douglan, I hope that's
Is that good?
a
Doug?
good sound.
Well, I'm not quite sure they know that it's us, so we may want to drop down a little bit here, not go right into Tianchar. Just a thought.
as you're getting closer now, you can see the vanguard are mobilizing. You know, you can see people are jumping onto horseback. Other troops are grabbing weapons and that. You seem to be causing a bit of a kerfuffle on the ground as you approach.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get in, range, Douglan's gonna yell out, "It's us! It's us! It's okay. Stand down."
I got one better. I'll use silent image, and I'll put a big picture of Douglan's face on the sail.
Nice.
God.
All right. The Stargazer comes in. You know, the picture of Douglan's face on the sail definitely kind of gets people a bit puzzled. You know, they're just sort of standing around or on horseback watching this approaching skyship. And, you know, now you're basically just 100 feet or so above the ground, slowly kind of coming up the road towards the manor house and such. You're kind of right up on top of the Vanguard camp that is between the winery and the gate into the winery. And people can see now you guys on deck and that there doesn't seem to be an immediate threat, and everyone is kind of calming down, dismounting. And Murfit says, so where am I going to put this thing?
I would assume Douglan knows of sort of like an open area big enough to kind of at least let it hover.
Yeah, where the road kind of runs along to the manor house, in behind there There's a big, large, open area. There are sheds and barns and accommodations for the people who work there. But there's a big open area that you could literally come around and just lay it down right in the middle of that area.
Nightingale kind of goes over next to Douglan. Well, that was quite the reception for... And he'll point up to the thing, and Douglan, if you notice, it's actually you, but it's you as Jesper's penniless.
Tries to grab the bard / rogue / whatever.
Everyone's so excited to see him again.
No wonder they wanted to shoot it down.
All right.
Such a good job.
The airship kind of circles around in behind the manor house. They lay it down. There's, the area is filling full of people, vanguard. They're all kind of riding into this courtyard as the ship settles down within a foot or so of the ground.
Can we say that over that 8-hour period, Nightingale kind of worked on the Darvel Snowleaf disguise?
Absolutely. You'd have lots of time for that through the day.
Good. Then
Yep.
I will slip off to dress up as Darvel Snowleaf.
You mean like within the ship somewhere?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just in my quarters.
Yeah.
And Nightingale will ask Lafferty, do you have the same magical abilities as Obadiah with a invisible helper?
Yes, of course. I do.
Then how about getting that invisible helper to dress like Nightingale as we leave the ship?
Yes, I believe that would work. Yes, because it can hold enough. Yes, he's just sort of doing calculate. Yeah, I think that would work. But we would need some type of face. Oh, the mask, of course. Yes, Nightingale, brilliant. Yes, I will get to it right away. And he casts Invisible Servant.
And Nightingale will dress the invisible servant as Nightingale, and he will dress as Darvel Snowleaf.
Right. As the sky ship comes to a halt, immediately, on horseback, you see Captain Barlor, Lieutenant Rycroft, and Lieutenant Arden, all on horseback there. They were obviously concerned about what had been originally descending upon. Coming out of the manor house is Maggie, and you see Wardell, and the General Verymock and Captain Lakalok are all standing on the back porch, kind of looking at this sky ship. There's probably a couple of dozen Vanguard have it circled, and then just people who work at the winery kind of all scattered around looking at this thing. Everyone is kind of has stood down. Obviously, they see some of you on deck, and they're just watching and waiting. The crew puts a ladder down you've gotten used to disembarking on, and you can do so.
I have a question.
Yes.
A little confused here. Is Darvel our prisoner, or is he what?
No, Darvel is returning to report to the Vanguards as he is a agent of the Vanguard.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll seek out Captain Balor. He's probably the best one to contact them.
The less people that know the truth, the better. So if we could use your connection with Captain Barlor to help this ruse, that would be fantastic.
And we're going to let him in on it, right? Of course.
Correct.
All
I
right.
think it's a small favor to ask for the information of the dooms we can offer them.
I think they'll understand. All right. Douglan's a little thick, so you gotta.
So you all disembark. You were
Indeed.
standing on the ground. Captain Barlor and Lieutenant Rycroft, Lieutenant Arden, they dismount and come over to the group. Captain Barlor, looking. Welcome back, everyone. What have we done here? I understood you were going to retrieve something. Was this the thing then?
Oh, yeah, this is just a little bonus, Captain. Listen, we need a moment in private with you, if you don't mind. Got some important information that we need to exchange, if you will.
Of course, we could maybe move to the manor house then.
Yes.
Lieutenants, please secure everything here. Everyone else back to what they were doing before.
And I'm going to say out loud, Snowleaf, you come with us. Loud enough to where others could hear.
As you approach the manor house, Maggie runs down and gives Douglan a hug. And she kind of looks at you and Father? Is this what you went to get?
Oh yeah, you like it? It's yeah.
It's a flying ship.
Yeah. It's for your it's a little bit late for your 18th birthday. I was looking for a pony, but I ended up with a flying ship instead.
I'll take a flying ship for sure.
Douglan, I would highly advise you not giving Obadiah's ship away.
Nightingale. Landis. Can't we have a little fun?
If you wish for flying lessons, I have become quite adept.
Oh, really? I would love to know how to fly this Kogaan. But first, everyone, please come inside. Wardell is...
As the group's moving, a peculiar Nightingale is kind of strumping along. As the... What is the actual spell?
Unseen servant?
Yeah,
Unseen servant lopes along in his outfit.
It probably moves just fine. It just doesn't have the same sort of like grace and verve.
Yeah, it would be a little sort of mechanical, I think, not as smooth as.
Plus, Lafferty's like kind of close, just mumbling under his breath, giving it commands.
But
and,
it's awesome. There's a mask. There's everything.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Put some gloves, everything on it. It's like,
My plan is falling into place.
Once we get in, what do you call Lafferty's going to be like, Nightingale, and I know you told me on the ship you were really tired, so why don't I get you to your room?
All right, Wardell is at the top of the stairs as you. He kind of gives everyone a nod, and well, this was quite a trip then. I assume successful so far.
We have made great progress.
Excellent. Please take what you need, and I do have some business to discuss with you when you are ready, but it can wait. And he heads back down the stairs and back out into the winery itself. Maggie and the general and the Captain Lack-a-Lock have all gone back inside the house.
So it's just us and Captain Barlor now?
Yep.
Captain, when we went to retrieve Landis's grandfather, we came across some documents that you're going to want, but we're going to ask for we're going to give you the documents, but we need something in return if you don't mind.
Of course. What can we do for you?
He shows them the documents. I mean, he's not going to keep them hostage. This here is Darvale Snowleaf. Well, to you he is, but actually it's our decoy. To make a long story short, Landis's grandfather was a double agent for us, working with the Dooms, but his cover was blown, and that's where we went and we found him. We rescued him. But as far as the Dooms know, this Darvale Snowleaf still exists. We want them to continue to think that he still exists, and that he's reporting to the Vanguard as a double agent, still going. This is going to help his grandfather kind of stay safe as a separate entity, if you will. So, yeah. At any rate, this is Darvell, also known as Nightingale, and you'd do us a solid if you, kept it under your hat, but kept the ruse going, if you don't mind.
I would assume this is something that I can share with Commander Rainier.
I would say Commander, yes, but the less people know, the better.
Understood.
About the truth of it. The whole point is that everybody thinks it is Snowleaf. It's for two reasons. One, to protect his grandfather, and number two, I think this is going to pull some of the Dooms out of the weeds, trying to get at him. He's a wanted man in their circles, and then he shows them the letters basically backing that up. The second letter might be of interest. It seems that they're having some sort of a gathering, because we determined through the grandfather let us in on how they count the days, right?
Yep.
So I will explain that to Balor that day actually it's not in the past. It's going to be in a day.
2 days.
2 days, yeah. So,
well, 2 days is when Onyx needed to report to Chaos Watcher.
Right. On the 11th.
There was it was just as soon as possible on his arrival in Easterly.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Nevertheless, we'll pass it on to Captain Balor as, again, information that they can make use of.
This is very valuable to us, as I am sure you understand, Douglan. My immediate thoughts are that if we make a big show of Darvel's arrival at the Vanguard Keep, we could then utilize some of Commander Rainier's double agents to spread the word of Darvel's arrival. It may take some time, but hopefully that word will eventually make it back to someone who would inquire about it.
It took the words right out of my mouth, sir. I was going to ask if, you guys could use your connections in the city to spread the word. The more chance we have of getting this out that Darvell Snowleaf works for the Vanguard, the better.
Might I suggest then, tomorrow morning, we will all ride to town together, making sure to spend some extra time just outside of the keep. There are always those that watch the comings and goings very closely of the Vanguard Keep. And then once we inform the commander of what you have brought to us, he can then send word to his agents.
Have there been any incidents? Have you needed to protect this place while we were gone?
Kogaan, I believe it is, correct? Kogaan?
That is correct.
I apologize. Kogaan, we have tripled our efforts in ensuring that the Dooms can no longer get a foothold in this area. Shortly after you departed, we burned everything at the Whitfield farm to the ground. We found every and any tunnel possible and had them collapsed and destroyed to ensure that the Whitfields can no longer be used as any base of operations. We have doubled our patrols of the winery, but it has been uncomfortably quiet since the Festival of Death.
Okay.
My grandfather informed me. I inquired about the absence of doom activity around Evandor, and he assured me they are still active. They are just keeping a lower profile.
This would be consistent with the information that has been passed along to us from the commander's agents, that they have gone dark and are keeping their presence particularly quiet right now for reasons one can only imagine.
Captain Barlor, I don't know if you'll have this information, but do you recall if Milena Whitfield or Lacey Whitfield had any aliases? I'm pretty sure those two ladies escaped.
We are not aware of any aliases, no. It is our understanding that Milena left for the city of Allegon, but we are unsure of where Lacey ended up after the events of the first.
I was just wondering if there was a correlation to this Scarlet Whisper and those two.
I am not familiar with Scarlet Whisper. It is nothing that has crossed us here.
It might be redundant, but Douglan would like to share what Obadiah shared as far as their structure with the Dooms to Barlor. Just to make sure, like, you know, the hierarchy, how they work, as much information. Just wants to make sure he has all of that, since we did have someone on the inside pretty high up.
He says that that's consistent with the Vanguard's understanding of the structure as well. They know a few names, not true names, but they know a few names from the ministry, but they do a very, very good job of keeping themselves secret. And they do believe even if somebody gets too close to a member of the ministry, they simply change names. So it makes it really hard to know who they're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
What time of the day is it?
Supper time, we'll call it.
Still light out?
Yep.
Maybe?
Yep.
Well, seeing as we've got all this administrative duties finished, Kogaan, would you like to go spar a little?
Yes, that would be wonderful.
All right. Let me limber up a little bit. I wouldn't mind getting some rounds in with you.
I look forward to having you share your experience with me.
You as well. How the hell do you get so big? You're gonna have to teach me that one.
easy, Douglan. Eat what he does.
There's no way.
Maggie comes out from the manor house, seeing that the conversation has ceased, and she says, Father, I will assume everyone will be staying for supper then.
Yes, and that lad over there, you better cook for two, huh?
Oh, I remember, indeed. I do believe that Wardell will join us for supper as well, just to share the news on how things are going at the winery. Have you at all heard the news about the king and queen?
We have.
The true king and queen then have been returned to power.
Indeed. We did know that, right? Yeah, we
Yeah, remember we were gonna go and
Yeah,
do a big
yeah.
quest, and then it turned out
Well,
they were okay.
the
That
last-
was a cutscene.
The last we heard, they were in Whalespell with Brell,
No,
Cortland,
they were in
and
Wellspring
Wellspring. Sorry.
with the Cortlands. But
And
now
your,
Maggie is telling you that they have been returned to power. So,
Fantastic.
Maggie, what happened to the false king and queen?
I don't know. Information has been very limited so far. It is understood that the king and queen are planning an official proclamation within the next few days to explain what has happened.
Have you heard anything from Lord Riovar?
Again, Father, the details have been very limited to myself, although I'm sure you would be able to get more. The good news is they are back in power.
Perhaps once we're done with our Vanguard business tomorrow, we can see if I can't see my contact at the castle. If you all don't mind.
I believe that would be of benefit to us all.
What would you hope to gain by seeing him?
Well, Kogaan, to bring you up to speed, as you know, there was an imposter as king and queen, and well, let's just say it. We don't know how deep the roots went. There were some strange happenings, including a gentleman that I served under actually quit the guard to pursue and find out the truth of it. So it's good to have them back, but I would like to know if there's anything else going on there. As you know, I was a guard captain with the royal family there, so kind of hit close to home. I'd like to make sure that all is well.
Understand.
Also make sure that the children are back. I think they were sent away, but I haven't heard anything since.
So you, shall we montage through to the morning then, when you will head
Let's.
to the city?
Kogaan and Douglan, an epic
Training sequence.
You're the best around. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
You enjoy supper. Wardell joins you for supper, basically giving you a very generalized update. Things are going well at the winery. They're finishing up the winemaking for the season, preparing the winery for winter, everything they would normally do. Maggie and Wardell have, for the most part, they have the majority of the winery staff just believing Anton is away on business. So as was agreed, there'd be no discussion of Anton's passing at this point. And some people aren't sure what's going on, but the majority of people believe that Anton just had to go away on business. And the Vanguard are basically in the same boat. You know, they just believe that Anton was called away on business. Obviously, Lieutenant Arden knows what happened. Captain Barlor knows what happens, but they are playing along with that ruse for now until other information needs to be imparted. You guys enjoy...
Do we have a freezer at the winery that Anton's
No,
body in?
they discreetly disposed of the body so that
Okay.
it
He's
wouldn't
in the
dry.
root cellar.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be a special brew this year.
Yeah, we got the special wine this year. You enjoy your
full-bodied.
supper,
Little baby.
catching up with Maggie and the two Gith, General Verimok and Captain Lakalok. They are antsy to get going. The general has said maybe they should just wait the 2 weeks and then head to... So basically, the end of next week, he would like to be at the Timeless Temple. But there needs to be some discussion made about how to find the temple. But he understands you have business to attend to in the morning and just asks that when you return, you get a plan together on how you're going to find the temple.
From where we're at right now, I think we talked about it, but I forgot the time it takes to get to the area of the Timeless Temple.
It would... I mean, if you went straight there... I mean, you only generally know the area because you don't know exactly where it is at this point or how to find it. I think it would take you about 12 hours to get there.
Okay. Landis, Lafferty, seeing as you don't know the exact location, what would you guys suggest is a buffer and getting there early?
That is hard to say. Perhaps after we've dealt with Mr. Snowleaf and that ruse, we can discuss with the Githinthor what information they have about the Timeless Temple and coordinate that with what we know of the Timeless Temple, and perhaps that will assist us in its location.
Maybe we could get a map of the area. I am very good with maps, and it might help narrow our focus.
That's a good idea.
Have you had any visions about the temple, Kogaan? Anything that we can lean on?
No, I'm afraid not.
Nor I.
All right. After tipping back a few drinks, everyone heads off to bed. And it is morning at Tianchar Winery. You all find your way down to the Manor House dining room. Enjoy some breakfast. Captain Barlor and Lieutenant Rycroft join you. They will be traveling with you to the city. And they are ready to leave. There's horses waiting outside for the trip.
Oh,
Right.
we're not flying.
Not this time.
I see. Kogaan, we need to make a show of it, right?
I understand.
Yes. So we'll don't worry. We'll get back up on that ship soon, and you can be in the bow and, spread your arms and
Oh, no. He wants
Do
to
what
be
you
at the
need to.
helm.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm sorry.
Okay, you head off to the city. About an hour away, you arrive at the city. The usual hustle and bustle that is the city of Evandor. The Vanguard have a small contingency of soldiers with them to make sure they make the biggest presence possible to attract some attention.
Nightingale, well, he'll make sure he's in full view.
Yep, you're riding right up there with the captain. You make your way through town, arriving at the entrance to the Vanguard Keep, and just as discussed, you take the time to make a big show of Darvel's arrival. You know, spending extra
A
time
subtle
in the
big
open.
show. A
Oh,
subtle big show.
I'll definitely
Yeah.
20-minute monologue. I, Darvel Snowleaf, have returned to the Vanguard. I was absent for a few months.
Monologue your whole story.
Yeah. Let's not make it too obvious, okay? Let's
I infiltrated the dunes.
Okay, you make your way into the Vanguard Keep, where Commander Rainier meets you, and seeing the group. Now, the captain kind of went ahead and gave him a very quick briefing on who was coming and why, and you arrive in a meeting room. There's too many people for the commander's office, as you've met him in before. He's standing at the head of the table and kind of, please everyone, please grab a seat.
We'll sit.
There is a bit of a story to relay to me here, I do believe, as the captain has told me that Mr. Snowleaf is someone of interest, and there are some documents, I do believe, that I should see as well. Who would like to bring me into the understanding of what I have before me right now?
So are we in a room with others besides the captain and the commander?
Nope, it's just you folks in there right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Douglan will come forward and just say, yes, Commander. Snowleaf is actually Nightingale, as I'm sure the captain has relayed that to you. We're trying to protect Landis's grandfather, and also use this as a decoy, perhaps, to draw out some more goons. Here are the documents. One is about a meeting upcoming, vague time frame and whatnot, but at least we have a location, and that could be of use to the Vanguard, I'm sure. The other is basically a bounty on Landis's grandfather, who was acting as a double agent for us for all these years. He has been retrieved from a, let's call it a prison. Once he was discovered, we were able to get him out. But we felt it better to keep the ruse of his double identity alive. So, if you will, pass this over to Mr. Snowleaf and take it from there.
Landis will actually do the talking for Nightingale's too preoccupied with
Looking
amazing
hard.
role. His amazing performance as Doorbell Snowleaf. Landis will be, as Douglan has stated, we want to create as much distance from the Snowleaf persona and my grandfather as possible to ensure his safety. We figured it would be not too much to ask if the Vanguard would help us in this situation in exchange for the information we have shared with you about the Doom's activities.
Indeed. Now, if I am to understand this correctly, Darvel Snowleaf was embedded within the Doom organization?
That is correct. Snowleaf, well, being a part of the Dooms, was known as the Iron Shadow. And he was in the reach of Chaos Watcher. That was the leader of that particular reach. I'm not sure if that name is familiar to you.
The city of Alagon. I am very familiar with that name.
Yes. Obadiah was trying to figure out the Doom's plan, the overarching plan of what they're planning. If I could drop plan one more time.
What's the plan again?
Thank you, Douglan. Obadiah believes that the Dooms are intending to use the coming 1,000-year event and the increase in magic to open a gateway to let the prophet through.
So, my part in this would be to ensure that my contacts know that Darvel Snowleaf has returned to the Vanguard Keep here. I would assume that Darvel will remain here.
Arvel will never be leaving this building again.
Understood. This could work very well, as we need something to smoke the Dooms out in the Kingdom of Evandor right now. Hopefully this will get something moving so that we can understand what is going on with the Dooms here. Go ahead.
Sorry. A person of interest, in particular, an individual named Onyx, was the one who discovered my grandfather. He is known as a troubleshooter for the Dooms. My grandfather described him as a slender male. He generally wears fancy plate mail. It's a bit of a trademark for him. And very tailored fit. Yeah. And based on his overall structure, Obadiah was suggesting that he might be Elven.
And wears a full mask. He's not sure that he can even see outside of the mask. Maybe
now, whether he wears that mask out in public, I don't know. That might be just a Doom thing so that they can't identify him, but that is the general description we got of this character, the Onyx. He, in particular, will be looking to get revenge on Darvel Snowleaf. As the first letter suggests, he was supposed to report on what he got from him.
In person.
Understood.
Lafferty's gonna message to Kogaan, like, he's basically whispering into his hand. Do you think it's okay if we tell the commander here that the real reason that we're saying the grandfather disappeared? Is that okay?
Am I able to respond to that?
You may respond to this message.
Do I have to speak it?
You have to talk with your hand.
With the message spell, he basically just has to point at you and he whispers a message that only you can hear.
I want him to figure it out. Lafferty doesn't know that other people don't know, so he just does that. So you hear this voice in your head. It's Lafferty.
I'm not entirely.
What are you gonna do?
But like that, like I come from a place where magic is prevalent. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like I understand what's going on. I just don't know the nature of your spell specifically. So I'll just look over to you and be like, I just shake my head. No, it's not necessary.
Okay.
Well, this is going on. Nightingale's going to ask if there's somewhere he can change.
Yes, of course. Just speak with one of the guards outside. They can take you to a private room.
He sits up with his great big bag on his side, walks out the door. Hey, give me a room where I can get out of this stuff. This beard's itchy.
The guard will take you off to a room where you can change.
Before you do that, I'll dismiss my unseen servants so you can have your clothes back.
I didn't think we needed him this morning.
Well, you had to be there, otherwise how is Nightingale coming out? If we're being watched, right?
Very true. Very true.
They needed to see Nightingale come in. So
fair enough. Thank you, Lafferty.
He was a terrible rider. Very floppy. All right. Captain Barlor turns to the group. Is there anything further you need to share with me? I obviously have a lot of work ahead of me. I will ensure that you are kept up to date on any interest in Darvel Snowleaf. I will have messages relayed to my people at Tianchar Winery, or if other means are required, we will find you.
Happy hunting, Captain.
This is quite valuable to us. I do appreciate your efforts in this area, and hopefully something will come of it.
This just came to me. One other tidbit of information, whether it'll be important or not. Obadiah happened to mention that the Dooms are using teleportation circles to move higher ups around quickly.
Yes, we are aware of their use of teleportation circles to move throughout, definitely throughout the protected lands, more than likely throughout all of Emathan. It makes them very difficult to keep tabs on at times.
I believe that is all, gentlemen.
Commander, we appreciate it.
Indeed. Before you depart, you do know about the return of the King and Queen?
We have heard rumors.
Yes.
The return of the king. Mm-hmm.
Only a few days ago, they returned to power. We are all waiting anxiously for official word on what has transpired. It is my understanding that within a day or two, the King and Queen will be making an official proclamation.
Well, it is a relief to know that things are back in order. I was under the impression it was very disruptive to the kingdom.
It was. It will be good to... It will be easy to tell if it is the true King and Queen. But their task in cleaning up the imposter's mess will take some time. There are rumors of a possible war with the kingdom of Wilhorn. I hope it does not turn to that.
Do they know what happened to the imposters?
There's very little word coming out of the castle at this point. Again, we are being officially told that the King and Queen will speak to this within a day or two.
Perhaps when we're done here, I'll go see my old friend Arnott, see if he's got a little bit more information that he can give, or we'll just have to wait for the announcement. But, yeah.
In the meantime, I've got some business. I got a few folk I'd like to run into in Evandor.
All right.
I can inquire.
You have finished up your business with the commander, and you head back out. Now the captain and his men are heading back to Tianchar right away, leaving you lot to your business in the city, now that Darvel Snowleaf has been dropped off at the keep.
Anyone have any particular objectives, I believe, Kogaan, you suggested we look for a map of that region.
Yes, I think it would be wise.
I agree. Douglan, do you know of a map shop?
Do I?
Yeah. There's several map shops in the city that you could go to.
Point us in the right direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's Christopher's Cartography. There's Maps, I believe.
Is there a way
Thomas
that
Guide.
during this journey to the map store, we could pass by the theater
Sure.
so that Nightingale could speak with Elverd and Della?
Yeah, you can make a roundabout way to get to a map store.
Or we could, because usually you like to do that alone, so maybe I can.
If you maybe I'll take.
Douglan, he loves the theater.
Does he?
And they know him there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You don't
Me and
remember,
Douglan will stop at the theater and meet you guys at the map shop.
Yeah. So Lafferty and Kogaan and Landis are going to go look for
The brains of the
maps.
operation.
And Douglan's going to escort Nightingale to the theater. We're splitting the party.
Yeah,
What could
excellent.
happen? What could happen?
Let's just go in 5 different directions.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, Nightingale and Douglan, you arrive at the Watchtower Theater. We are still late morning now, after your travel to the city, you're meeting with the commander and heading out. You're an hour or so before high noon. You arrive at the theater. Things are pretty quiet there. There's nobody rehearsing this early yet. Folks milling around or so. You don't see Starling or Wren right off the hop.
Nightingale will get Douglan to, take his usual position up in the stands, watching what's going on, and he'll head back to their office that he knows and knock.
All right. Starling answers the door. Alvord Amberlance answers the door. And he looks and smiles and, well, we weren't expecting guests.
I'm never to be expected, but always to be appreciated, maybe?
Come in, Nightingale.
So, to make this quick, something in my glass there, that was not
Not supposed to be.
supposed to be in there. Nightingale's basically going to give an update to Starling about everything that's gone on. So he's filling him in that they found Obadiah, all the information that they gathered about the dooms from him. He'll relay the 2 letters and all of that kind of stuff, and just, inform him that wine brewing at the T&Char winery is going well. Have I told them that Anton is dead yet?
Nope. They have no idea what happened on the 1st.
Okay, well, things at the winery are good.
Yes, they're good.
Yeah. And that's it. And if they had those costumes made up for him yet.
The costumes are made, and they're in a little bundle that you can take with you.
Perfect.
3 costumes to fit everyone except obviously Kogaan, who wouldn't fit into one of those.
Totally be realistic with him dressed up as Nightingale. The ruse would be flawless.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing. Like, if there's any messages for Nightingale from.
No, the only thing that Alverd was looking for was an update on how the meeting and the Elm wine delivery went with the Githenthor that he can pass along to the college.
We are looking at about a 2-week period before the Githenthor and the wine get delivered.
Okay.
And
they'll pass along all the information about what has transpired. So you told them basically the story of what's gone on with Obadiah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case, they want to know what's going on with the Dooms, being that it affects the entire world.
Yeah. They'd probably be interested to understand that.
And then, as quick and seamless as he slipped in, he'll slip out, grab Douglan, and start heading to join the others at the map shop.
All right. The others at the map shop. There's a couple of different places you guys try. They have some very rudimentary maps of the area. I mean, understanding that's a very long ways away from where you are. The shop owner suggests that you would find a much better map of the area in the city, anywhere in Allegon. Definitely the city of Allegon would have a more detailed map of that coastline. But they can offer you up, sort of a map of the protected lands, but it probably doesn't have the detail that you're looking for in terms of that coastline.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It'd be a bit like, going down to Vancouver to look for a detailed map of Halifax Harbor. It's like, well, they got a general map they can give you, but it's not going to have the detail that you're probably looking for.
Very well.
I just realized those references mean nothing to Egan. Where?
Hey, I know Canada. Like the back of my hand. What the hell's that? What the heck? Oh.
Well, Kogaan, I almost went into Nightingale there. He's not there yet. Kogaan, is there anything else you would like to do while you're in the city of Evandor?
I do not think so. I'm not sure what else needs to be done to prepare for our next part of our journey.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mystery what we'll be doing, but perhaps.
Do we have rations? Let me see. It's always good to make sure that you have enough rations.
I believe the crew kind of takes care of that. And they said they had if I'm not mistaken, like a solid 2-week supply, if I'm not. Is that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and I mean, they are, so that noise was me giving you the 3 costumes.
Oh.
So they should be in your inventory.
That sounded like gold.
They're bedazzled.
Yeah. The ship, is, they have a lot of food stores. They're growing food on board. They got the chickens, the goats. They do a little bit of hunting when they need to, fishing when they need to. They're always trying to keep the stocks up. That said, I mean, if you guys ever wander off, it's good to have rations as well, especially for Kogaan. He'll have to eat you guys.
Yeah.
If the cook says get food, I'm going to get food.
Yeah. Let's not have Kogaan hungry. Ever.
You gave those to Nightingale?
Party Nightingale clothes, jester outfits ×3. it'll be under clothes and then jester outfit.
Got it. Got it.
Actually, maybe I would buy 2 potions of healing if there are any available in this town.
Oh, Kogaan, please. You offend me. You don't need to buy healing potions. How many do you need?
Well, I used 2 during rescue of the grandfather Obadiah, and I would like to refill those, perhaps.
Give me about 4 hours, and I'll whip 2 up for you. Please, you do not need to buy healing potions. Besides, the quality that I've seen at these shops, it's terrible.
Your
I'll make
potions,
them for you.
they will last?
Oh, you will not find any finer, Kogaan.
Okay.
I mean,
Very
you see, like, you're looking at Lafferty. He literally has a bandolier of potion vials going down one side. He's got a wrist mechanism that has all these liquid cartridges. I'm sure I can make something for you. Yeah, just give me a few hours and I'll get you a couple, okay?
Okay, sure. Well, let me know if you need any gold or anything to help for some ingredients.
Consider it a gift for keeping Douglan from falling down all the time.
Sure, he has helped me many times. He is very hearty. His magic healing is very good.
Is there any substantial library in Evandor? Probably. It's a big city.
You're on mute, I think. I can't hear you. We can't hear you. Yeah.
Sorry, I cracked open a can here, so I shut off the mic for a second. There is a library in the city of Evandor. It pales in comparison to the one in the city of Alagon, which is, renowned across all of Emathan. But, there's a fair-sized library, yes.
We have a bit of time. I wouldn't mind trying to research any knowledge that might be in Evandor about, myths of dragons around the area. Whether or not there are rumored to be, any particular dragons that hang around this coast or anything along those lines.
So I think you guys are all from the protected lands.
Except for Nightingale.
Yeah, except for Nightingale and Kogaan, obviously, but the rest of you. So there hasn't been dragons seen in the protected lands in centuries. The strip of land that is the protected lands is fairly populated, compared to the rest of Emathan, and dragons haven't been seen in and around the protected lands since, ages ago.
What about Dragonborn?
Dragonborn are few and far between in the protected lands. Dragonborn tend to stay to their own communities within Emathan. For like with Kogaan, Kogaan is on a very specific reason he has left his village to go into the world. And they're out there, and there's, I don't want to call them renegades, but I mean, there's some who have just left that life to live amongst regular folk. But Dragonborn they're pretty few and far between. I mean, people have seen them, and people know of them and that, but it would be somebody that you've heard of but maybe never seen before. He would definitely draw attention all the time.
Perhaps, Kogaan, when we get the opportunity, we can consult the druids of the wild.
Druids? Yes, sure.
We have become acquainted with the druids of drawing a blank.
Winterberry.
Winterberry Wood. And
Where is this Winterberry Wood?
it is located near the sea of something or other. What was that big body of water called, Douglan?
The Midnight Depths.
Thank you. Which is the largest body of water in the wilds. Now, if we were going to find a dragon, the wilds would be the place to do it.
Maybe. That sounds very promising.
And if there were any good dragons, I'm sure the druids would know about it and be able to assist us in communicating with them in some way or form or another.
They may know of not so good dragons as well.
As well. So perhaps if we've got time, that could be something we look into as another way to get information for you.
That is an excellent idea.
I don't think it would take too many days for us to zip across. And don't we have a tree we can walk through, Douglan, on your property?
We do. We just need someone to open it.
That's right, we need a twig we danced around with or something, I recall.
A twig we danced around with.
Do everything in due course. We'll take care of these most pressing, important matters first.
Indeed, I'm just trying to keep as many options open as possible.
Of course. I merely say that because maybe there is a dragon in the region, but that itself could be quite a lengthy endeavor.
Indeed.
To find this creature. So.
Well,
Landis is
Douglan,
trying to
Lafferty.
say what what Landis is trying to say, Kogaan, is that you're a part of this group now, and what you're going to see is that we all try to help each other.
Oh, of course.
We can.
We only have maybe a week or two until we have to get the Gith to this portal, the temple. And
Indeed.
yeah, so it is all.
It'd be terrible if we were late for the party.
Yeah.
Being that, we're the ride and all.
Kind of a big deal.
Anyone need anything in town, or shall we dilly-dally back to the winery and open up a few old vintages and see what happens?
Just
Let's
break
just go on a
into break
3-day
into the
adventure.
elm wine and see.
We're going to go on a 3-day bender, and then we'll take them to their sunless temple or whatever. Timeless, there you go.
Sunless temple.
Okay,
Douglan.
you having finished up your business in the city of Evandor, you ride back to Tianchar Winery, arriving back there sort of mid-afternoon. And things are going about as they usually do at the winery. Maggie is on board the ship, getting a tour of how everything works. And yeah, the Vanguard are going about their business. The captain stops briefly, or meets you briefly, and just saying that everything seems to have gone well, and hopefully Darvel Snowleaf will cough up some interest, and you're back at the winery.
All right.
What
So
a jackass.
interrupting everybody like that.
Just had to get his moment in there.
So a little meta talk with the group. What do we want to do? We got 10 days.
Wait, I thought it was down to a week. Is it 10 days?
A 10-day is a week. Yeah.
Well, a 10-day is a week.
Yep.
You're doing this on purpose, Colin.
No.
10 days a week. A Trigon is a month.
You
40 days
you
is
should
30.
have studied your Emathan calendar.
Yes. I channel more Douglan than I do Lafferty. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. All right. So we've got 10-day weeks.
Yeah, it's basically right now it's the 10th day, and by the 20th day, from the conversation last night with the general, he has decided that he just can't wait any longer than 2 weeks to get to the Timeless Temple, but there is a conversation about finding the temple that will need to be had.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, maybe that is where we get there and find it, right? It could take time, and we don't want to just arrive and panic and not find it. So maybe that's where we head. I mean, there's obviously a big pull to go to Easterly, right? There are many reasons, metagaming here, right? But I don't know if we're ready to make that leap yet.
No, not even close yet.
Where in relation to everything is the place to see the king and queen that Douglan wants to go to?
Oh,
in the
that was
city.
back. Yeah,
It's in Evandor. Like, so we
That
could
is
wait.
Evandor? Oh.
Yeah. Before we leave Evandor, do you want to talk with your buddy?
Oh, I thought we were going to do that, but we came back to the winery, so it's okay.
Well,
Yeah,
we can.
it's fine. Yeah.
I thought. Oh, those are different than the people of.
Yeah, they're not
Oh, no, sorry,
Vanguard.
Is the
Yeah,
kingdom of Vilhorn that had? Okay.
Yeah, Vanguard are outside because they're Vanguard are like the feds, basically. They oversee all the protected
The
lands.
Vanguard are specifically in opposition to the Dooms.
Mhm.
They work in liege with the local king or queen, but they are their own thing.
Yeah.
Douglan, perhaps, I don't know how long it takes to forge a weapon, but you do have a bit of elder steel that could be turned into something violently sharp and deadly.
Yeah, I mean,
Or you could just carry the block around with you the rest of the game. I don't know what you want to do.
well, yeah, no, I'm down with that. I don't know if we want it. Should we do it real time? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Every hammer swing will just wait.
Yes. Cling. No, if we have like a little bit of downtime, for sure, he would like to. Lafferty would love to maybe furnish an upgraded blade to the halberd for him. You know.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'm not sure what we got to do for the next 10 days. Like, am I missing something? Is there anything anyone wants to do in particular? Like, should we go slumming in Vargas? You know, like, sow Kogan's wild oats?
Yeah.
You do not understand Dragonborn anatomy. I think.
You don't have oats?
Not like you think.
He's got barley.
All right, so you arrive back at the winery.
Yes, we have a conversation to have.
And you are met by the general and his captain, who have been eagerly awaiting your return to discuss the plan. Now that you have the airship, because when last you were all together, you didn't have a skyship.
Nope.
And so General Verimok and Captain Lakalok join you in the dining room to discuss your plan for finding the Timeless Temple and getting there.
Who do we got to kill for the information? Let us know.
Yeah, that's basically, we need to ask what
information do they have?
yeah, tell us
Yeah,
what you know.
they should have info.
So the general, after everyone is seated, the general turns to the group and says, "Well, I would like to begin by saying that this sky ship will definitely make our movement to the Timeless Temple much easier. And I commend you on securing it, and hopefully it is available to us as needed. The captain and I have been discussing our next move for some time, although we do believe our people, our army need time to get to the temple. We are getting anxious to find the temple. Now, I do not know exactly where the Timeless Temple is located. I know that it sits somewhere along the northwest coast near the city of Alagon. I have been there many times myself, but as we have talked about before, things do not perfectly relate between the Between and Emathan. On top of that, it is my understanding that as part of its defense, the location of the temple changes from time to time. This will greatly complicate matters.
Scroll.
Now, Landis, you did a bunch of research on the Timeless Temple during your downtime. That was one of the things that Landis did at the Great Library in the city of Alagon.
And I met a librarian.
Yes, you did. I don't know what notes you have there, but I can relay what Landis knows. Or if you have some notes there you would like to share, I can fill in the gaps.
Allow me to review them.
Hey, just hit Control F and search them.
It's paper, man. Don't do this to me. How about you tell us what Landis knows?
Why
and I'll
don't you
confirm.
tell me what I know? Not a problem. So, during Landis's study, during his downtime, you also determined, the general location of where the temple is, much as the general understands it. You also found in the books you studied about how the temple changes location from time to time, all within the same general area on that northwest coast. You know that the temple is looked after by monks, although no one can seem to determine what their race is. And the monks do not speak, but they instead communicate through telepathy. The temple apparently contains portals to the heavens, the hells, and the between. And the monks are guardians of the temple, and they control passage between all the various worlds. They're both the guardians, or the keepers and the guardians. But you don't know, nobody really knows the exact location of the temple. After you relay your information, sort of what you learned during your time studying the matter, The general sort of thinking over. He says, "Many years ago, we met with the Vanguard at the Timeless Temple. They must know how to find it if they were able to meet us there."
Weren't they? I thought they were with us when we were talking about this before we went back into the city. Am I crazy? Weren't we all?
No, we didn't talk about this with Captain
No.
Barlor.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we can talk to them. So the Vanguard might know where, at least the proximity.
Yeah,
of where
it's sort of just occurred to the general that since the Vanguard met them at the Timeless Temple, they must know some way to find it.
All right. Well, let's get the captain in here.
Isn't there that wizard guy? Remember,
Bro.
Kogaan doesn't know this, but
Bro?
Bro, Cortland.
Yeah. He can detect the ones that are just opening.
oh, right.
So if this is a constantly open portal, he may not be able to. But good thought. I like where you're going with that.
He doesn't have a
Another-
radar. He's a timer.
Yeah. He says, yeah.
Gotcha.
Douglan, fetch
Yeah,
Captain
no, I said
Barlor.
let's get the captain in here.
All right. Captain Barlor joins you in the dining room of the manor house. Yes, gentlemen, what can I assist you with?
The general here seems to think that you Vanguard know where this Timeless Temple is or will be. Apparently it moves around a bit.
I'm familiar with the Timeless Temple. If the Vanguard do have information to share with you on this, I do believe you would have to consult with the commander. I am not familiar with anything beyond its existence.
I believe it's above his pay grade, Douglan.
I believe that's what he meant. Yeah. We should get perhaps I should just leave a sending stone with the commander.
Just keep calling him. Hey.
We just keep going back and forth.
I asked anyone like the General Verimok and if there's any, do we have any relics or anything associated with the Timeless Temple?
Nothing that I had on me at the time, unfortunately.
Okay.
Kogaan, are you thinking of some other way of locating the temple?
It's a long shot, but sometimes ancient things have certain, much like my own arts with runes, runes exist in all sorts of different forms, and even though I'm not so magically knowledgeable, I do have an aptitude for deciphering runes and making understandings of them because of my own specific training. So I just thought maybe if there was a clue on something, an ancient text or an artifact that is associated with the Timeless Temple, it might have something on it. It is a bit of a long shot.
Well, perhaps Douglan could head back to the Vanguard in the next while.
Sure. But did the general answer his question?
He didn't have anything.
Yeah,
Oh, he didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear.
He didn't have anything on him when he came through the portal. I mean, it was only supposed to be a short visit.
Right. Got it.
Along those lines of a long shot, Kogaan, these monks must eat. And the closest city would be Elok. So if the vanguard fail, we could always head to the city of Alagon, look for monks, and if they don't speak, they might be from the Timeless Temple.
Maybe.
They must go somewhere for supplies.
Or have someone who trades with them.
Exactly.
Comes to them, perhaps. Another
Or
line
at
of
least a
question.
meeting location or something.
Mm-hmm.
Is Rainier? He's just a commander of Evandor, right? There's another Vanguard commander in Alagon, right?
Yeah, so the Vanguard commanders are in each of the kingdoms.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commander Rainier is just the Vanguard commander for
Right.
Evandor.
Perhaps we save our questions for the commander of Alagon. You know, if I could ask Balor if he knows the name of the commander in Alagon.
Commander Rainier again would be your best source of that information.
But what if I don't want to go back to the city again?
Commander Rainier would be the best source
Go talk to Commander Rainier.
Of information on whether or not you should talk to Commander Rainier.
Oh, gotta go back.
I
feel like I went to the store and I forgot milk. Yeah.
Can I
We
make
should
supper
perhaps-
without the milk?
Gosh darn it.
We should perhaps make haste because it seems like we might need to spend considerable time in this Alagon in order to track down the information we need. I think delaying much longer would be ill-advisable.
I agree with you.
I would be interested in hearing the King and Queen's proclamation, but in that line of thinking that time is of the essence, I'm sure we could get updated.
I mean, we could fly there in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
You could literally fly there in 10 minutes.
it might be a little disruptive to fly an airship into Evandor without permission.
Yeah.
They might be a little on edge, being that their king and queen were just kidnapped. But we could also ride there in an hour.
Well, where was it that we got the airship?
From Vargas.
The Isle of Nome.
Oh, right. We took
Yeah.
a boat and then we took a airship.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Took a boat to Vargas and then an airship to
right.
Nome.
That's right.
Douglan
Actually,
and
that's a good
Nightingale.
question. Oh, I'm sorry, Barry. That is a good question. Are airships common in these Evandors and Alagons? Would we know that?
No.
Yeah.
So I mean, airships are infrequent. Skyships are very
Yeah,
rare.
skyships are super rare.
Yeah, so maybe we shouldn't advertise as much as. I mean, obviously, people are going
Is
to know.
Evandor on a lake or on the coast or anything like that?
It's on the coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could
City of Evandor is on the coast. Yeah.
theoretically you could land the airship,
Sail
and
into
docks
port.
on the coast. It shouldn't be a problem. Just saying.
It's only an hour's ride to the city. Douglan's just being a pain in the butt because he's old and getting saddle sores.
Getting saddle sores.
We sparred too hard last night.
You may have broke him.
Yeah, no.
Nightingale and Douglan can ride back, and Kogaan and Lafferty and Landis can, make sure the wine's stocked up and we got everything ready, and
Yeah, prep the ship.
prep the ship and get it ready to take off as soon as we return, and we'll head to Alagon.
Got a lot of bottles of elm wine to load on board.
Yeah, like
Yeah, because that is part of this, right? We do have to get elm wine to this Timeless Temple, right?
so. Let's split. We'll send some, or Kogaan can come too, and we can leave Landis and Lafferty to orchestrate all that.
Whatever you guys want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about even Douglan and Kogaan go, and Nightingale, Landis, and Lafferty will stay.
Done. Okay.
Douglan has his magical steed, so he's going to ride a magical steed.
He's mentioned that before. All right.
Yeah.
An hour
Steed.
later,
Oh, no.
you're back in the city of Evandor.
Kogaan, I feel like we've just been here.
Yes.
You
it's
get that
been-
feeling too?
We have been a little disorganized with our process lately, but we are learning more and more.
You arrive at the Vanguard Keep, where you are given
Hello again.
an immediate audience with Commander Rainier.
Yes, Commander, I'll cut to the chase. What is the name of the commander in Alagon? Or do you know the location of the Timeless Temple?
I do know the name of the commander in Alagon, but what you may find more interesting is the Vanguard in Whalespell were the ones that arranged the meeting between the Vanguard and the Githyanthor.
Seer Yanel can detect that.
I would suggest that you meet with them, as they have been able to find the temple in the past.
Forgot about her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but can I have the name of the commander anyway in Alagon? Because we've come all this way.
Come all this way. I want to know the name of the commander.
I want an NPC name, damn it.
His name is Araman Namoli.
Good lord. Araman Namoli?
Araman, A-R-A-M-A-N. Araman.
Believe it's a type of spread that you put on breakfast sandwiches.
No, Namoli.
Where you come from?
N-O-M-O-L-I. Commander Araman Namoli.
All right.
Aroman Romoli paste.
Yes. His family was the makers of the Namoli
Famous
paste.
Namoli
Yes.
spread. Okay, cool. Was there anything else we needed to ask the Lord?
You wanted
Four
to
more
talk to your
NPC
friend?
names.
Yes. What is Araman's wife's name
Yeah.
and children?
We're gonna be also here to you wanted to speak to your special friend or special contact,
I have
Yeah.
a special friend. Yes, I have.
and we
that.
wanted to hear the proclamation of the new king of the return.
Well, we won't need to if Douglan will
Yeah.
go talk to his buddy.
Oh,
I tried to. Are not Freebo, please. If he's around.
So you're gonna go to the castle?
I want to. I have a contact
We got
there.
time.
He's the number
Yeah.
2 that was
Yep.
groomed, but the gal jumped
Yep.
in. So maybe
Lord
Arnott-
Felmorn Riovar.
Nightingale's loading boxes of wine.
One for me. All right. You arrive at the castle. Things immediately to you, Douglan. They are a lot less tense than they were
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
last time
ask.
you were here.
Yeah.
You introduce yourself to the guards, and Lord Felmorn comes to you at the castle gates.
So Felmorn's back?
Felmorn's back.
Ah, even better. All right. Felmorn. Good to see you, Lord.
It's good to see you, Douglan.
I have to say, quite the job getting the king and queen back safe.
Well, I definitely have to thank you for the help you sent. The Cortlands were quite instrumental in making sure things happened.
Can you bring me up to speed of what's going on here at the castle and the imposters? Are the children safe? Are they back?
The children are safe and they've been returned to the castle. It was one of the first things that the Queen insisted upon. Not surprising, but come with me. He kind of leads you off.
Pardon me, Lord. I don't recall. I think you might have met Kogaan. this-
He's with
yes.
you.
Yes.
My apologies. Kogaan, it is nice to meet you.
Has Shrugreed. Nice to meet you as well.
We are okay to talk then, Douglan?
He is part of our group. Let's just say
Douglan and
Yes.
I have fought side by side now through many battles in this short time.
Ah, probably would explain why he's still alive, son.
Or why I am.
So you guys head off to a little area away from prying ears, and Lord Felmorn says, the imposters turned out to be doppelgangers. They were hired by King Wilhorn to act as the king and queen until after the next gathering of the Protected Council in the spring. They sang like canaries to save their lives. The king and queen are considering their options for dealing with King Wilhorn and the kingdom of Wilhorn. Unfortunately, Douglan, this includes the possibility of a declaration of war.
I would say you don't just kidnap the king and queen and expect no reprisal.
Yes, but war at this time would be very, very ill-advisable.
Oh, I understand that, Kogaan.
I agree with you as well, Kogaan. But it will be their decision. Under council, we hope it does not become that, but something will need to be done against King Wilhorn.
Let me ask you something, Lord. How was it left there? Is Wilhorn intact? Are they are their forces as strong as ever? Were they weakened by this?
They're not weakened in any way. They have always been a kingdom of warriors, and they continue to be a kingdom of warriors. A war against them would not be an easy battle.
What does Stoneborn think of this? Because they're bordering their lands. If Wilhorn were to come, it would be by sea. Correct?
That would be the easiest way to move troops into the area. The Kingdom of Stoneborn have always hated Wilhorn. If push came to shove, they would likely side with Evandor. But there are at least 3 other kingdoms that have always voted in favor of bringing the Kingdom of Wilhorn into the protected lands. It could get very messy.
Indeed. How many knew that there were imposters on the throne?
Do you mean before they have been exposed, or?
Well, again, I don't know how public the knowledge was. I know they're returned, and you and I know what happened, but
Very few at this point know that the imposters were doppelgangers brought in by King Wilhorn. That is very privileged information at this point, but it is my understanding it will be part of the King and Queen's proclamation. They will call this out.
I understand it would still, those that don't want to believe could think this was just a ruse to get into a war with Wilhelm. Sorry, Lord, I'm just thinking out loud.
It is a very messy situation, Douglan.
Indeed. To say nothing of other things that are going on that should be given more attention, I think. And there is. When is the announcement?
In the next day or so.
Kogaan, do you think we can hold out? I wouldn't mind hearing this.
Sure. There's no problem. Maybe we should try to... Is there a way we can inform our companions we're staying?
I have no means.
That is my only concern.
That Lafferty character is the one that has those stones that talk, but he forgot to give us one. But we're not too far away. Yeah, that's it. We just came to see what was going on, but there definitely seems a more positive buzz here in the castle than last my visit.
Things are returning to the way they were before this incident. It will take longer to turn things around across the kingdom.
Are you in your position again?
I am.
And what happened to...
She has taken her place as before and understands the situation completely.
All right. Well, if we do decide to leave early, I'll send word. We have other business to attend. Of grave importance also. So, but again, I thank you. Listen.
We thank you for, as I said, the Cortlands were the turning point for this situation, and it made all the difference.
Excellent. Right. Well, Kogaan, shall we?
Let's.
All right, you return to Tea and Char Winery, where so are you guys loading the wine on? I would imagine you're loading all the wine on board the ship now. You're planning to take everybody with you if you go anywhere. Would make the most sense.
Yeah, making sure the Githanther have rooms and Maggie's got a room.
Douglan's going to put it to a vote. He's going to share with the crew about Lord Falmorn's information that it could be a precursor to war. We don't know what the king and queen are going to decide. We think the speech is going to be in a day or two. And do we want to wait?
How about we leave a sending stone with Captain Barlord? He can inform us of the king and queen's
speech. He can hold the stone up while they're talking.
Yeah.
25 words at a time. Reset. Reset.
Yeah.
If you could give your speech in 25-word segments.
Yeah. Yeah, he could give us, he can give us war or no war. Yeah, he could absolutely.
I mean, in all honesty, if there's going to be a declaration of war, the news will spread very fast. We will know.
Mm-hmm.
And it is unfortunate circumstance, but we are on things of far more grave importance than a war between these two kingdoms, as terrible as war is.
There's also a non-zero chance that this boat gets commandeered. Strange things happen in war, so perhaps it is better that we are out of range, if you will. So
we do not want our services to be redirected.
No. A war with Wellhorn is not... It would be tragic. These are my people and this is my land, but I know there are bigger things. So yeah, I'm okay for leaving as long as I know what...
Whale spell is 10 hours away. You're not, you're not a gargantuan distance away.
Yeah.
Within a day, you could go to whale spell and be back again if you so decided to do so. With your little rocket ship.
So yeah, I
My
say-
only concern is now that we have the Alm wine and the Githenthor loaded onto the vessel, we make haste to our location in case we are attacked.
We should commit to this now.
Understood.
I think it is time. Like we said, we do not know exactly where it is. We do not even know exactly when. So we know pretty close to when, but we should be at the most prepared. If anything, like you say, happened just before I arrived happens again, we will want to be in the best shape we can.
All right. I'm okay with this.
Your loyalty to your people is admirable. But do not look at this as you abandoning your post.
The politics
Oh.
is. I'm sorry, Douglan. I
no, please.
understand how you may be torn, but if you look at this, what we're doing here is of greater importance to your people. There'll be other ways to help. This is the best way, despite what might happen with the king and queen. So
He kind of looks down at the amulet that is of Gath and his oath of the protector, and he just kind of looks up and just say, "You have to forgive me. I'm no longer that captain of Evandor. I made an oath, and that oath is bigger than this. Just an old dog, just trying to learn a new trick. But I'm okay. So, we need to go, we go."
It's settled. We head off to Whalespell. Perhaps we could inquire about the Mistwalkers while we get back, too. They did go missing.
That's right.
All right, are you departing right away then?
We are. If we are ready to go and if we've got everything loaded, let's dilly-dally.
Yeah, if you leave now, basically,
Arriving at the cover of dark in Whalespell.
well, you'll arrive early morning into Whalespell, so
sounds perfect.
yeah,
Perfect.
it'll be good
I
timing.
think for lack of drawing too much attention, Kogan's idea of us sailing into Whalespell might be the best approach. Fly and then land and sail in.
Can that be done, Murfitz?
Oh, absolutely, yes. The ship can sail in the water. Yes, absolutely.
We're trying to limit the impression, as you saw.
Since we are landing on water, may I have the opportunity to try to land the ship?
Oh, that would be excellent. Yes.
Yes. I wish to improve my skills.
Do you have
Well, if we
seatbelts
were
on
going to
you,
crash,
Murfitz?
water would be the good spot for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Murfitz, do you got seatbelts? Perhaps an airbag or two.
All right. The Gith and Maggie and everyone else boards the Stargazer, and you depart for Whalespell. The ship circles out to sea as you get close. As the sun is just coming up in the morning, Kogaan settles her down on the water with lots of coaching from the helms person. And you sail your way into Whalespell's harbor. They do have a little boat down below that they pull up, place in the water, and so that the group now, Maggie and the Gith are going to stay on board the ship. They don't have any reason to go in, so it's just the five of you row your way into Whalespell. And you arrive in Whalespell early morning as Whalespell is coming to life. You basically where you dock is just a short distance from where the keep is for whale spell. Wind kept citadel is the
I'm gonna take off the 26 gold, and Kogaan has 2 healing potions.
Alrighty.
I don't have to roll for them. Those I just know how to make.
all right. You are just where you dock in whale spell. You are just a short distance from the wind kept citadel, which is the Vanguard keep in whale spell.
That's where Seer Yanel.
Yanel,
Right. Yeah. All right.
Well, Douglan, this should be a treat.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite enlightening the first time, I do believe.
That's when all my body started to change.
Your body started to change?
My nuts dropped.
That was just
My voice got deeper.
before he became Oath of the Protector.
Yes.
Was the last
She
time he was
touched
in
me in
Whale
weird
spell.
ways, and I felt all weird.
Weird.
But yes, let's go see Yanel. She might be. Oh wait, so no, the Gith are staying on board.
Maggie's staying on board. Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Just the 5 of you
Yeah.
on shore.
Yep. Let's go see.
Yeah, we will head to Seer Yenel's. And being that we have these fancy Vanguard amulets, it might be a little easier to get in the door this time.
I flash it.
Yep, that's
You-
right. I'm a big deal.
You arrive at the entrance to Wind Kept Citadel. After talking to the guards, you are given an audience with Galen and Odessa Atwater, the commanders for Wind Kept Citadel. They take you across the open area of the Citadel, lead you into a familiar meeting room where you met them last time. So if my math is correct, the only 2 people that have been here previously are Douglan and Nightingale. This is new
That is
to everyone
correct.
else.
Yep.
So the
Douglan
5 of you...
definitely has-
Sorry?
Sorry, go ahead.
Nope.
No, I was just gonna say when he walks in, he kind of has like a chill go down his.
Yeah. You guys got some big news the last time you were here.
Yes. Yes.
You enter the room. There's the big round table. You take a seat, and a few minutes later, Galen and Odessa come in. You recognize them. They walk in, looking at the 5 of you and seeing Douglan and Nightingale. Galen says, "Well, I would welcome back the 2 of you. It has been a while since we have seen each other. I assume that much has happened for yourself, Douglan, and Nightingale. And I am Galen Atwater, and this is my wife, Odessa Atwater. We are the commanders here at Wind Kept Citadel. And who might the other 3 of you be?" Looks to you, Kogaan, first, with interest.
Pazshul Grind. I am Kogaan Dremnaufinstrunmah. I am here to help these people. We are friends.
Excellent. It is good to meet you, Kogaan. And you, looking at Landis.
I am Landis.
Excellent. We have established that. And looking at Lafferty last.
I am Lafferty. I am an artificer and a void sorcerer that pulls on the powers of the void. Very nice to meet you.
Excellent. And
Gives a full detailed.
what
My
is-
class is this. My race
Yes.
is this. I have,
I have 28 hit
points.
points. My strength is 12. Charisma's
Whoa, where
higher
did this
now.
go? And what is it that brings the five of you to Windkept Citadel? I am told you carry the medallions you were given by Commander Rainier of the city of Evandor.
Ooh, look at that.
And
The wings of Vanguard.
what is it that we can do for you?
Well, Commander, we need to see Syria now, if possible. We're on very important business that we believe she can help us with.
Is it business that you could share with us?
Maybe. I forgot. What are they? They're commanders of Windkept. They're Vanguard, right, or no?
They're
They are
Vanguard.
Vanguard.
They are
yes.
Vanguard. Oh yeah. I'll tell them everything. Spill
Tell him everything.
everything.
I once stole a candy when I was 4.
Yes.
We need to find the Timeless Temple to aid the Githyanthor with their battle against the Dooms. Or sorry, the Githyanki.
Yeah.
And the Githyanki are entangled with the Dooms, so it'll be advantageous for both parties.
Last line of defense.
I would assume then that you know that we once met with the Githyanthor.
That
And
is
you
why
are
we are
wondering how it is that we found the Timeless Temple?
All of that.
Nightingale's like, it wouldn't have been word of mouth. I hear they don't talk.
You- yeah, wasn't word of mouth. Galen says, you will need to speak with Seer Yenel. She can explain how it is that we were able to find the temple. Galen and Odessa get up. We will have her join you shortly.
Nightingale will look at Kogaan and be like, don't be surprised, Kogaan, if she looks into your soul and tells you secrets that'll freak you out.
It's true.
Okay. Very good.
All right. Seer Yenel enters the room shortly after, and seeing the group, she sits down at the table and says, Douglan, it is good to see you again.
You as well, Seer.
And Nightingale, how are you?
I'm good. You probably knew I was going to say that.
Kogaan, Landis, and Lafferty, I believe it is. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
The seer takes a very long, hard look at Kogaan, and
Here
then
it comes.
turns back to the rest of the group and says, what is it that I could help you with?
We need to be able to locate the Timeless Temple. It is of great importance.
Is this an importance that you could share with me?
Tell her everything.
We are aiding the last resistance of the Githyanthor to reunite with what troops are left on the other side. We intend to hopefully turn the tides of the battle with a shipment of Ulm wine. It is imperative that we get
the commander back to his people so that they can fend off the Githyanki. A threat that threatens both his people and the people of Emathan.
I am unable to show you where the temple is. But I have a sister of vision that lives in Windermere that is able to find the temple. My sister is blind, but she can see energy auras that will allow her to locate the temple's entrance. If we get within the right area between the two of us, we will be able to locate the entrance. We will need to pick up Seer Ezra in Windermere.
Sister Ezra?
Ezra.
Windermere is across the...
Yeah, Windermere's not far. Windermere is a couple hours away.
just like north of here on the inland sea.
Almost directly north of where you are.
Then do we make the assumption, Siriano, you'll be joining us on this journey?
I will.
Well then,
That's comforting.
if there are no further delays, we should get on the road.
If time is of the essence, then we should indeed go. I will be ready to leave early afternoon, if that is acceptable to you.
Of course. And you're
Yeah, Douglan, it'll give us some time to check in on the Mistwalkers.
okay. We can make use of the time for sure.
Then I will see you at that time, and we will find the temple for you.
Very good. It is much appreciated.
She again looks very hard at Kogaan, gives a little nod, and then departs the room. Kogaan, when she looks at you, she looks through you.
Roger that.
She's totally into you.
He sees your little Kogaan undies.
X-ray vision
Again, I do not
glasses.
think you understand Dragonborn anatomy.
All right, guys, that is where we're going to hit the pause button for tonight. We will pick up with traveling to get Seer
shenanigans
Ezra.
and whale spell. Shenanigans and whale
Oh yes,
spell.
right.
Where
We
we're gonna
have
pick it up.
we have some shenanigans in whale spell to pick up.
And Barry, I have 2 weeks to figure out who the fuck the Mistwalkers are again because I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure, yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
You
find
don't
the-
remember them?
The
They're part of
sisters?
the Wandering Adventurers group.
They were
Wanderers?
the father-daughter you rescued right out of the gates.
Our first mission was
Like
rescuing them from that.
way back when.
That was another Douglan. He doesn't remember.
All right, well, we will sign off for tonight, guys. Thanks for another fantastic night of the Dungeons and Dragons. And, yeah, we'll pick it up in a couple of weeks. And until
Sweet.
then, study your notes. All right, we will sign out.